Well, the by-election is happening. The voting is underway. Started at 7 a.m. in certain polling stations. 119 polling stations to elect a new member of parliament to replace the late Ernest Kumi, who died in testing. Well, that election in 2024 was contested in the court. Ernest Kumi subsequently went to parliament, swore the oath of office, saying, damn the consequences. The legal battles continued. He won, was declared the legitimate member of parliament, and he died soon thereafter. We know that the Akwatia constituency is in the eastern region of the Republic of Ghana. If you check, it's a diamond-rich hub in the Denchembo district. It's also set for a critical parliamentary election that's happening today. Ernest Kumi, who died on the 7th of July 2025, hopefully will find a replacement today. It's between the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress. Contest will feature the MPP Solomon Kwame Sumedu against the National Democratic Congress's candidate Bernard Bediako Beidu. So it's a Sumedu versus Beidu in a constituency with a volatile electoral history. Permit me, I'll guide you through that history. Since 1992, the MPP has held a narrow 5-4 edge over the NDC. The parliamentary elections making Akwatia a swing seat, bellwether for national trends. We know that Akwatia's parliamentary elections and the Ghana's Fourth Republic have seen a microcosm of fierce NPP and NDC rivalry shaped by its mining economy. Also a diverse voter base, farming communities intertwined with other businesses. The seat has altered between the NDC and the MPP, as I told you. And it mirrors usually the presidential outcomes. Constituency diamond mining community thrives on voter priorities. The MPP, as you know, is a capitalist, ideology political party, so the pro-business policies that they have brought resonated with the people of Akwatia for some years. The NDC also capitalized on the economic discontent in others and perhaps a socialist ideology within the Akwatia constituency. That's the kind of game that has been played since 1992. Look at electoral controversies that have been recorded in the Akwatia constituency. You can mention off the top of your head 2008, 2024. Akwatia's history heightening the stakes for the upcoming elections that are happening now as we speak. And we know that the MPP, one of the by-elections that also was occasioned by the plane crash, the helicopter crash, Tamale Central constituency, the MPP had to withdraw from that election, they say for good reason. But let me take you back to 1992. And in 1992, we know that the NDC's Gilbert Kwesi J won the Akwatia seat unopposed as the MPP boycotted parliamentary elections nationwide, alleging irregularities in the presidential poll. You know that in 1992, the MPP did not participate. The specific vote counts are unavailable due to the boycott, but we do know that it reflected the NDC's national dominance under the late Jerry John Rawlings, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, then known as Chairman Rawlings, and then subsequently dovetailing to Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. He secured 57.3% of the presidential vote, establishing an early NDC foothold in Akwatia. Then we come to 1996, where the NDC wins the Akwatia seats for the first time in a competitive parliamentary race. This time, the NPP participated in the elections, unlike the 1992 elections when the NPP decided not to participate. So the elections saw Alhaji Mohammed Ezwa Siam of the NDC, right? And he beat the MPP's Dr. Kwame Cheba for winning approximately 17,900 of the votes. Bafo got 8,575 of the votes. That would create a margin of 9,325 votes. This will remain the largest victory that the NDC has ever got in Akwatia, the contested elections driven by the Rawlings' re-election in year 1996. Mind you, Rawlings is the firstborn of the Fourth Republic, a creator, and the firstborn of the Fourth Republic. He was in power in 1992. He got re-elected in 1996, and obviously by the dictates of the Constitution, by year 2000, he couldn't contest again. Now, Rawlings' re-election of 57.4% and strong rural support cementing the NDC's grip on the constituency. This was in 1996, the first ever competitive parliamentary election to have happened in the Akwatia constituency. But then in year 2000, the MPP's Kingston Akoming Kisi captured the seat against the NDC's Alaji Y.A. Amankwa, and he polled the MPP's Kingston Akoming Kisi polled 15,483 votes, represent 53.6% of the votes to Amankwa's 12,803 votes. That's 44.3% of the votes, a margin of 2,680 votes, with 28,891 total valid votes and 614 rejected ballots. On this occasion, in year 2000, the NPP's economic liberalization policies resonated with Akwatia's mining communities. You know that John Ejekum Kufuor, the gentle Jack, the NPP's man, had just come in. That was the election that brought in the NPP, and for a very long time after staying in the wilderness, a presidential victory of 56.9% in a runoff, making a significant shift for the NPP in the Akwatia constituency, and so the NPP won the Akwatia constituency for the very, very first time in year 2000, and that was when President Kufuor came to power. President Kufuor stayed on in 2004, got re-elected. Kingston Akoming Kisi also recontested and was retained for the NPP in 2004. He defeated the NDC's Baba Jamal Mohammed Ahmed, and Kingston got 17,159 of the votes, representing 50.8% of the votes. The NDC's Baba Jamal got 16,087 of the votes, representing 47.6%, a margin of 1,072 votes, with 33,783 total valid votes and 586 rejected ballots. So that re-election of the Mr. Kingston Akoming Kisi of the NPP solidified the second term of President John Ejekum Kufuor. However, you would notice that the vote difference, the margin of 2,680 votes in year 2000, had been almost halved, if you will, by year 2004, because 2,680 votes then, as opposed to 1,072 votes in 2004. 2008 was when President Kufuor had finished his second term, and he was exiting. In comes President John Evans Atta Mills after a third round. You remember that time constituency election, which was the round 3, one of the very first in our electoral record. The 2008 election was highly contentious, if you remember. NDC's Baba Jamal Mohammed Ahmed, he had lost to Mr. Kingston Akoming Kisi in 2004. He reclaimed the seat against the MPP's Kofi Asare after a rerun in 6 polling stations on August 18, 2009 due to irregularities. Baba Jamal won with 17,777 votes. That's a total of 50.9% of the votes to Asari's 17,160 votes. That's 49.1%, a margin of 617 votes. Mind you, it used to be 1,072. Now it's reduced further to 617 votes. That's the margin. 34,937 total valid votes cast, and 664 rejected ballots. If you look at the rejected ballots, it's actually bigger in terms of the figure than the total margin that Baba Jamal won with, that 617. But this result aligned with the John Evans Atta Mills' presidential win of 50.23% in a runoff. I'm sure that you remember that, the time conversation. Now, in 2012, this time the President Mill has died, and it was John Dramani Mahama who had come in to the picture. He took over first as vice president, sworn in. He had about just 3-4 months to campaign, and he fought in the 2012 elections. In 2012, Baba Jamal Mohammed Ahmed held the seat for the NDC again against Kofi Asare of the NPP in another tight race. It was quite a tight race. Baba Jamal polled 19,811 votes. That's 50.4% of the votes. Kofi Asare of the MPP polled 19,517 votes. That's 49.6% of the votes. A margin of 294. So from 617 votes, it now dipped further to 294 votes as the margin. We had 39,328 total valid votes. The register had grown from 34,000 to 39,000. Total valid votes of 614 rejected ballots. And if you look at the numbers, if you're a numbers person, 617 was the vote differentials in year 2008. If you come this way to 2012, is 614, just about 3 votes shy, and that's rejected ballots. But in fact, the margin had dipped from 617 votes to 294 votes. Interesting, isn't it? Well, there were allegations of malpractice by the MPP. I mean, they went to the Supreme Court to challenge the presidential election. For a full year, the NDC's John Dramani Mahama was eventually affirmed a winner of the presidential race with 50.7% of the votes.
3FM Sunrise.
And we come now to 2016, where the MPP secured a landslide victory in 2016. 2016, John Dramani Mahama lost the elections as a one-term president on his own. He lost that election. The MPP, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who had tried for 3 times, won that election. Dr. Bao Mia tagging along. The MPP's rebound was in 2016 in Akwatia. There was a lady called Mercy Edu Jemfi, popularly known as Amase the hairdresser. She defeated Baba Jamal Ahmed. Amase secured 22,981 of the votes, representing 60.6%. The NDC's Baba Jamal got 17,453. That's 39.4% of the votes. A margin of 5,000. So from 294 votes margin now to 5,528 votes in favor of the NPP. The largest MPP victory in the Akwatia history, with 37,904 total valid votes cast and 541 rejected ballots. The parliamentary results there, the biggest ever for the MPP. This mirrored Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's national triumph. He had tried for 3 times. He won on the 4th attempt. 53.85%. That's what the vote differentials was against John Mahama. And until that time, until the 2024 elections, that was the biggest ever electoral defeat that any political candidate would have faced. Voter frustrations from the NDC's economic policies and all of those things, amounted to the NDC losing that election. The MPP won decisively in 2016. The NDC got back in year 2020 when the NDC's Henry Yadomboache recaptured the Akwatia seat, narrowly defeating the MPP's now late Ernest Kumi. Mr. Boache won by 19,899 votes. That's 51.5% of the votes to Kumi's 18,742 of the votes. That's 48.5% of the votes. It was a margin of 1,157 votes. So from 5,000 plus votes now dipped to 1,157 with a total number of 38,641 valid votes cast. 541 of the persons there had rejected ballots, and that's a repetition of the total number of valid invalid ballots in 2016. 2016 rejected ballots were 541. In 2020, same number repeated itself as the votes rejected. Nanado's presidential bid in Akwatia was 21,758 votes. That's 56.91% or 91%. Mahama got 16,181 of the votes. Local concerns were over anti-illegal mining policies that led to skirt and blouse voting. You know that in 2020 there's a fight against Galamsey or so that people say there is, and they were not so happy about it, especially because Akwatia is a mining community and they expected that a lot more could happen in their favor. So the skirt and blouse voting pattern happened. And for those who don't know what skirt and blouse is, it means that you're voting either for a different political party for the presidential election, and then you choose a different candidate from a different party for the parliamentary election. So you can decide that you're voting on the presidential scale, you're voting for the NPP's candidate, and then on the parliamentary slot, you're voting for the NDC's candidate. I mean, these things do happen. But let's look at the 2024 elections then. In 2024, Ernest Kumi of the NPP, now late, won against Henry Yadomboachi, who beat him earlier in year 2020. This time around, the tables turned. Ernest Kumi beat Henry Boachi Yadom of the NDC. He polled 19,269 of the votes. That's 52.83%. Mr. Boachi, however, polled 17,206 of the votes, representing 47.17%, a margin of 2,063 votes, with 36,475 total valid votes cast, and you go back to rejected ballots as 294. The NDC went ahead to contest the election results, as I told you earlier, at the Koforidua High Court, the junction barring Kumi swearing in, and in an attempt conviction in February 2025 overturned by the Supreme Court in June 2025. Mr. Kumi's death shortly triggered after that, and that's what has brought us to this by-election. So there's also the claim. Now, if you look at the elections that are happening today, the NDC selected Bernard Bediako Baidu. It's a 40-year-old lawyer. He was the lawyer of the candidates, that's Mr. Boachi Yadom, who lost the elections against Ernest Kumi. And the constituency secretary, competitive primary, was held on the 4th of August 2025. Mr. Baidu polled 380 votes. He defeated Erasmus Koni Ali, who polled 366 votes, and a former member of parliament, Henry Yadom Boachi, who polled 226 votes out of the 975 valid votes. So the man's lawyer is now the parliamentary candidate. Baidu's prior representation of Boachi in the 2024 election challenge adds some intrigue to it, because how could you be my lawyer defending my interests, and suddenly now you want to take over my interest? Well, the MPP, on the other hand, acclaimed Solomon Kwame Asumedu, who is also 40 years old, is a licensed small-scale miner and 2008 All Nations University graduate. After some contenders, including Amase, withdrew on the back of a party consultation and negotiation. So Mr. Asumedu was handpicked, and Mr. Baidu went through competitive primary. Asumedu, calling himself the Joshua to Kumi's Moses, has predicted a 10,000 vote victory margin for himself. So he wants to win by 10,000. Never happened before. The highest they've had is almost a 6,000 vote. But he says, well, he will change the game. He will get a 10,000. So if you look at the history in Akwatia, for example, NPP, NDC, the split I told you earlier, in 2000 the MPP won. In fact, in 1992 the NDC won. 1996 the NDC won. In 2000 the MPP won, and then on and on and on up to this. It paints a picture of a swing nature, often aligning with the presidential outcomes. And the presidential outcomes here will be year 2000, year 1992, year 1996, year 2012, year 2020, year 2016, and on and on. You can clearly tell. But the NPP, its candidates, led by Sumedu, has got great support from the party's MPs and party officials. Countering with unity walks, they had all of those ones, development promises. But Global Info Analytics, Musa Dankwa, they did a poll between the 1st and the 2nd of August 2025, showing that Mr. Sumedu is leading with 49.7%. Bedu is trailing behind with 43.8%, within a 2.7 margin of error, signaling a tight race. Now, some analysts say that the by-election is a test of President Mahama and the NDCs over the 8-month period that they've been in power, and the NPP's resilience in opposition. So, on both fronts, they're looking at how this will run eventually. Well, we will wait and see how things pan out here on your election command center. But I can tell you on good authority that all the details you're looking for will be right here. You don't have to move a muscle. You don't have to go anywhere. You just have to stay with us here on Sunrise and on our extensive coverage of the election command center, and we will bring you all the fine details. Replacement for the late Ernest Kumi, who died in Teste. See you shortly after this.
It has always been a journey of Pan-Africanism and consciousness. It is your regular taxi driver with the urban blend and 3FM 92.7 in living stereo every day, Monday to Friday, from 12:30 p.m. till 3 p.m. This is the show everybody listens to, so your business will certainly do well here. My name, Black Rasta. I am the rootical, hairtical, Don Gargan, Moa Fire. Come forward. Atinga ya chika fankare, Azure ya chika fankare, Abama ta chika fankare.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Accra, Ghana, Africa, and worldwide. Join us on Inspirational Gospel Mix this and every Sunday, 8 p.m.
3FM.
King of kings and Lord of lords, lover of my soul, Jehovah, one and only God. I am Jesus Christ, the Holy Lamb.
What is your favorite scripture?
Well, my favorite scripture is Romans 8:28, and it says, all things work together for the good to them that love the Lord. Kwame, that is absolutely my favorite scripture.
Yes, your Inspirational Gospel Mix, a moment to get inspired with the best of inspirational songs and interviews to get you prepared for the new week. Every Sunday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. with me, your big brother, Kwame Adu, mixing G, mixing gospel. You can't miss it. You are blessed as you listen. 3FM 92.7.
Your finest tunes in sync with a soothing voice. 3 Lounge with AJ.
Are you tired of the same old routine? Need a break from the stress and chaos of everyday life? Well, step into the 3 Lounge, your world of absolute relaxation and great music with yours truly, AJ Akwatia Sapon. Welcome. Monday motivation, shake off the Tuesday blues, and get ready for midweek mania. Take a trip down memory lane on Throwback Thursday and wrap up the week with Funky Friday with myself and Helen Apia Ampufo. Plus, enjoy exciting celebrity interviews, insightful conversation, engaging discussions on topics that matter, and there's a boatload of fun and easy activations that reward and appreciate you, our loyal listener.
If you are listening, we're manifesting money into your pocket this morning.
Don't miss out on the excitement. Tune in to 3 Lounge every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. with AJ Akwako Sapon, only on 3FM 92.7.
It's my number one.
92.7 3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Follow us on social media. Twitter at 3FM927. Facebook at 3FM927. And also on 3news.com. Follow us on social media. Twitter at 3FM927. Facebook at 3FM927. And also on 3news.com.
And when you have some confusion that has erupted in Akwatia, as you can tell, there's calls of NBC and NPP supporters, Chairman Buga on one side, and Alaji Zoka and his team on the other side, clashing and mentioning clashing because the NPP said Vice Chairman mentioned him in an interview, and he's so livid about the situation. You can see top-ranking police officers in Akwatia on the ground trying to calm the situation. It turned to near fisticuffs as Alaji Azoka couldn't hold his calm or keep his calm, and he wanted to attack the third Vice Chairman of the New Patriotic Party known as Chairman Buga, and clearly its tensions are flaring up there in Akwatia. 53 minutes after 9 here, Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. But know that this is the extensive coverage of elections in Akwatia, the by-elections that is. Back into Parliament. The inauguration of the 9th Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Ernest Kumi was supposed to be part of this pack, but at the time his election was being challenged at the High Court in Koforidua. He had come to Parliament on the eve of the 7th of January. In fact, he was in the House as of the 7th of January. I was on TV3 at the time. Mr. Ebenezer Ahuma Jethro is the clerk to Parliament, seasoned one at that. On this particular occasion at the swearing in, he had received what he called an injunction from a court that told him to preclude or avoid swearing in Mr. Ernest Kumi. Something ensued in Parliament where the minority leader at the time, minority leader now, Alexander Kwame Apenyo-Marking, or Sahin Alexander Kwame Apenyo-Marking, Member of Parliament for the Futu constituency, said, well, Ernest will take the oath and he will bear the consequences thereof. I want to give you a refresher of what happened in Parliament on that particular day, and then we'll come back to have a conversation. You want to stay with us here on your Election Command Center. We've got all the fine details for you.
None shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service, and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and a love for the common good. Bless the effort of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen.
He showed a lot of human relationship. He has a very, very good relationship.
I'm sorry I'd have to burst your bubble and take you back to Akwatia. It's not so pleasant there. Chairman Azoka clearly is not so happy about the situation.
All right, thank you so much.
And the fisticuffs have been thrown there. We'll try and connect with Joseph Armstrong Gold Alogbe, who's there on our behalf in the Akwatia area, where the fisticuffs have been exchanged and where voices are screaming at each other in Akwatia. We know that Eric Marwana-Egbeta is there. Yvonne Nikwe is there as well. We have a crack team on the ground who will be bringing you every single detail from all the 119 constituencies, 119 polling stations, in that particular constituency in the eastern region. I've told you the dynamics in the Akwatia area. I've also told you what the electorates are looking forward to. I've told you what the situation is as of now, and what I can report to you is that Chairman Azoka, who's on the side of the NDC, and the gentleman known as Chairman Buga, two Northern brothers, the two chairmen, taking it at each other, because according to Chairman Azoka, he had heard his name being mentioned by Chairman Buga in an interview, and he thought that, well, he would not have any of that, and so he jumped into action to defend his name, and that's the detail you have there, the altercation here and there.
That there shall be a speaker who shall be elected by members of parliament from among persons who are members of parliament or who are qualified to be elected as members of parliament. Mr. Chairman, I have in my hand a statement issued by the office of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, titled President-elect Mandate NDC Parliamentary Leadership to nominate Right Honorable ASK Bagbin as Speaker of 9th Parliament. It reads, the President-elect, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has, in consultation with the National Executive and Parliamentary Leadership of National Democratic Congress, mandated the nomination
Mr. Chairman
of the Right Honorable Abansuman Kingsford Babi as Speaker of the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, this letter is signed by Mr. Felix Ofosu, Kwachi Ofosu, as Special Aid. Chairman, the preliminary issue I'm raising is to the effect that the nomination
Mr. Chairman,
only requires the consent
where from
of
that
the
letter
person to be nominated.
Where from that letter? That letter, where is it from?
Situation where
it must not be tolerated
that the executive now directs that a member to nominate would make this arm of government
House of Records.
an appendage of the executive. Mr. Chairman,
where from that letter? is the objection that I have. Having made that point,
Where from that letter?
I need, Mr. Chairman, to also draw your attention
You see, Sammy,
to the fact
you have
that
been vindicated.
in 2001,
Jethro.
7 January, when Right
this
Honorable
seconding the
himself,
motion?
as minority
What
leader,
is doing?
was seconding the motion ably moved by J.H. Mensah for consideration of Alajete as a speaker. These were his observations, and I read from column 4 of the Hansard of 7 January 2001. I quote, ASK Bagwin, NDC, Nadole Kalu North, as he then was. He says, Mr. Chairman, I rise to second the motion urging this House to accept the nomination of Mr. Peter Alajete as Speaker of the Third Parliament of the Fourth Republic. He goes on to say, Mr. Chairman, in doing so, however, I would want to register the displeasure of the minority side on how this issue has been handled.
A country of plenty where evil and poverty shall be done away with. A country of brotherhood where all success shall be founded on service and honor shall be given to the deserving. A country of peace where government shall rest on the will of the people and a love for the common good. Bless the effort of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana.
And it's 5 minutes after 10 here on your Election Command Center with 3FM 92.7, also live on Facebook at 3FM 927. My name is Johnny Hughes. Always a pleasure to serve you hot electoral issues. And joining me on the phone line is my colleague Joseph Gold Armstrong Alogbe, who was all the way in the eastern region in Akwatia. A while ago, I told you that the two chairmen on the side of the NDC and the MPP, Chairman Azok and Chairman Buga, were almost at each other's throats. Why was that? Joseph has all the details. Gold, good morning. Thank you for your time. Hello, Gold. Good morning. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, Johnny, good morning.
Now, why were the two chairmen fighting?
Johnny, so it happens that we have the NPP vice chair granting interview to some media personalities here. And in his interview, we heard he mentioned the name of Azoka. Apparently, Azoka was also coming from the other direction. And that we don't know what exactly he said to Azoka, but Azoka approached him quickly and warned him to stop mentioning his name in his interview. And the NPP vice chair continued to mention his name. The next thing we saw, Azoka just threw his hand, and it turned into a fight between the two of them. And indeed, both of them were working with supporters, and they all got themselves involved and took the intervention of the police to prevent the fight from escalating.
Now, the nature of this interview, what was the mention about? Do you know?
Hello, Johnny.
Do you know what specifically Chairman Buga said about Chairman Zoka in that interview?
So later I tried to get explanation from Chairman Azoka, and then he said to me that he was calling him a small boy, and he said to him he's not a small boy, he's older than him, and no, you're not older than me, and you're a small boy in the job, you just came, and basically that is the explanation I got from both sides, and then the next thing, they start throwing hands to each other, and then the police came in to just separate them.
Now, their supporters, you say they got involved in the fray. How did they do that? Tell me.
So, they all come with entourage to the place. And there's one other thing I also observed. Before this election, the police held a series of press conferences, and one of such press conferences had it that no bodyguard escorting any of these national executives from both the NPP and NDC side, or government officials, or members of parliament, or ministers of state would be allowed to carry their sidearms to any of the police stations. And I speak to you now, that is being flouted. as I speak to you right now, so you could see even Azoka is still, what's the name, the vice chair of the MPP is right here at this police station where I am, and his bodyguard indeed is carrying his sidearm. We saw that of the other group also, Azoka and his people also, his bodyguard also carrying sidearm. Other police stations I've been to, you see anybody national official you see coming to a police station, they are carrying their sidearms, and this is one thing that the police hierarchy speak that they are not going to correlate any of these things on this very day, but indeed that has been violated, Johnny.
These arms that they are carrying, would you say the police have seen them? And if they have, what reactions are they giving to you, the policeman?
I want to believe that the police have seen them because I can see it's very visible. Like where I'm standing right now, from where I'm standing, it's quite a distance from where this bodyguard, I presume, is standing. If I can see his sidearm clearly shown on his left arm side, and I'm sure the police commanders here too can see just as I'm also seeing.
Now, so far, what would you say the process has been in the Akwatia area where you are? Which polling station are you at? Are you stationed at, and what can you share?
I am currently at the Akwatia lorry station, exactly where I am now, and I'm told this is one of the hotspots we have here. And so far, I think everything has been very peaceful. If you ask me, if not for some of these few incidents we've witnessed, which I think the police would have to devise some strategies to make sure it doesn't escalate, because from both sides, they are still not happy with what happened, and then they've vowed to make sure that where they meet each other, they want to face each other squarely. So hopefully the police would want to come up with new strategies to prevent these groups from meeting each other at the next polling station. And also one thing I've observed is the fact that everybody is just coming to the station. People with phones, no media accreditation, they are all very close to the police stations, and they use their phones, so you cannot tell who a professional media guy is, and that escalates some of these incidents we see here, because the earlier interview that led to this confrontation, you will not see any professional media person granting the interview to the NPP vice chair. Indeed, for which media general, when I went to him, he said it point blank that no. If I talk to you, I'll be sacked from my party. So he will not talk to me. So those that were granted the interview are not people that you can easily identify where they are coming from. Maybe they are from the constituency or their local media personnel, but their line of questioning is somehow problematic, and that also leads to some of these incidents that you are witnessing, Johnny.
But who told you that he cannot speak to you? If he does, he will be sacked from his party?
That is the NPP vice chair.
I see. Now, quickly tell me, again, you are concerned about the fact that people are trooping in and out of the polling area, some with weapons, some with phones, and all of that. Are you saying that the police have left everybody to do their business as they will?
I can't say that either. But what I'm saying is, I think much can be done to make sure that there's much more security at these police stations that I'm seeing. Because it seems to me that the police are here in their numbers, yes. But if what happened should repeat itself again, it will still happen. And before the police will say, Jack, what will happen would have happened. So what we can suggest is that if there could be some barricading of the place so that people will be prevented from coming in, say they check your ID card, if you're not coming to vote, you don't come anywhere close to the polling station, it could help. But from what I'm seeing now, if any incident should happen, the police will be handicapped. The police can do nothing to prevent it from happening. Maybe after that, then they will come and try and see how they can separate the fight. Because almost whatever happened at Ablekuma North seems to be happening here, where people are gathered very close to the polling stations, and the police are standing here. They are obviously not carrying arms. And if we have these people we decide to call as thugs coming in their numbers, like what we just saw between the NPP vice chair and the NDC vice chair, just something little. And by the time I realized, the whole place was crowded with people where we didn't know where they are coming from. Immediately they outnumbered the members of the police here. So you can just imagine if indeed Azoka did not tone down and decide to call his men to leave the place. It would have been a different story to tell. But let's say a very big thank you to Azoka, who, for whichever reason, there's one police officer, I think she's a commissioner, that came in and spoke a language that he understood. The woman almost went on her knees to beg Azoka in the language that Azoka understood better. And immediately he said, Mommy, and he said what he said, and then he just recalled his men, and then they left the place, and peacefully they were able to bring back peace to this police station, Johnny.
Tell me about voter turnout. What can you report?
Yeah, so far, it looks like I cannot really speak much of the voter turnout now. Where I'm standing now, I have about 3 police stations. Only one person is going through the process to cast a ballot, and then the other place, yes, only one person. So, well, people come in as at when, no queue, you don't see any queue here. So maybe it's early days yet. You can't say low voter turnout. What I can tell is that almost every minute there's somebody before the electoral officers to cast a ballot.
Thank you very much, Armstrong Godalogwe. We're grateful that you could speak to us this morning. And we're live in Akwatia, as you know by now. 119 polling stations making a decision to get a new member of parliament for the constituency in the eastern region, which is a stronghold of the NPP, following the demise of Ernest Kumi, a member of parliament. Going to the other phone line, Stanley Niblew is also there in Akwatia. He joins us now. Stan, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning.
Great. Where are you, Stan, and what can you share with us?
92.7. Currently, I'm at the Wedua Lorry Station. And this very lorry station is playing host to 2 polling stations. I must say that the first polling center that I visited, which is one of the 2, actually, some 624 registered members are expected to show up and vote. And then the other one, so in total, we are going to have in excess of 1,200 registered voters who are expected to show up to exercise their franchise and go through the process to elect their representative to the legislature. And so I must say that the process has been calm, except that in the morning, there was a misunderstanding which ensued, but the police intervention actually calmed the situation. And so, as I speak, the process is ongoing smoothly. Quite a few minutes ago, the IGP, who is also on a tour to the visiting the police stations, has been here a while ago with members of the police management board. And so, when they came, they were able to fraternize with the electoral officers, especially the presiding officer, and he obtained some information from the officer, returning officer, regarding the number of persons that have voted so far and how the situation has been on the ground. And currently, I must say that everything has been positive, apart from what actually happened earlier, the misunderstanding that ensued earlier. But apart from that, everything is going on smoothly.
Right.
The IGP spoke to the media, and for him, he feels that the police have been deployed to police the census, and so to give comfort and protection to the electorate. And so they shouldn't fear, they should just come out in their numbers to exercise their franchise. And so is the representative or members of the National Police Council. The leader is here, and then Sheikh Arimaya is also here with him. They also have been engaging the media, and according to the Peace Council, they don't want a single drop to pull out of anybody from this election as a result of violence that may mar or characterize this election. They want everybody to go through the process, elect somebody or a candidate or a legislator who they deem fit to represent them at the legislature. And so they also entreated the members to eschew fear and then go through the process. But then there is the issue of the weather conditions, the atmosphere. For some time now, it has been precipitating for some time now. And so if it becomes intense, this means that it may end up marring the process or putting the process on hold. But currently, the electorate are trying the station and going through the process.
The electorates are voting, but so you can say that they are not intimidated in any way, correct?
They are not intimidated in any way. But then there is this issue that I must also put across. Because on my way, earlier when I got to Akwatia, I first visited the St. Paul's polling center, and I reported for TV3. And then from there, I decided to walk through the town to this very polling station that I am. And then in the course of walking, I came across some houses. So I engaged with households. And for them, I inquired from them whether they've already come to exercise their franchise. But they said no. And their reason is that they are waiting for some time before they will come out and vote. And the reason behind their delay is that they wanted to be sorted out monetarily. And so they said they are members or agents of both parties, the NDC and the MPP, going around and giving people money to come out and vote. And so they receive their share of the money that is being paid. They are not coming out to vote.
I see. Now, have you spotted the candidates, perchance? The two, Asumedu and Bedu?
No, currently the two leading candidates or the main candidates have not shown up at the polling station that I am. But then there have been supporters of the NDC and the supporters of the NPP as well, who have currently from the polling center to engage the electoral officers, the police personnel deployed to the center, and also to keep up the interest of the people to come out in their numbers to vote. So on the part of the NDC, I saw Akongan, Akongan a few minutes ago, and then I also saw Mustafa
Bande.
No, not the. So for the NPP, there is Mustafa
Salam.
For the youth organizer.
Mustafa Salam, you mean?
Salam.
Right.
Yeah, Mustafa Salam. Yes, he also came in a while ago to engage the police officers and the people around. So as I speak, everything is going on smoothly, and we are expecting that this will continue. No violence should break out to mar the process, because the people are happy going through the process. They are not overcrowding the place, but rather they are trickling in one after the other to ensure that they hold a very peaceful election or electoral process.
I know that the Black Maria is also standing by. Earlier we saw the footage of one man who had been picked up, hopefully into the Black Maria. Do you have some more information around that?
So actually, that incident unfolded before I got to this place, but my inquiry indicated that the person that was apprehended earlier was accused of sharing some posters belonging to one of the candidates. And so the supporters of the person that his poster was on were not free, and so they have to accost him. And then for peace to reign, the police had to intervene to keep up, to probably push him into the Black Maria. But I must also say that apart from the police deployment at the various polling stations, there are also police personnel on motorbikes patrolling the town. And the IGP himself is also patrolling the town to ensure that whatever arrangement that they put in place, they are going to implement it to the latter, because according to them, they don't want to leave anything to chance.
Thank you, Stanley Nibleu. We're grateful for the updates. Thank you so much indeed. And that's a man, Stanley Nibleu, they're reporting from Akwatia in the Eastern region. Well, let's go now to Akwatia. Same Oku is Member of Parliament for Krapim North. Listen.
Transpired. So
And we will get back to that conversation with Samuel Uku in a bit. But yeah, you're live here on your Election Command Center. I want to give you a reminder, 24 minutes after 10 here on your Election Command Center. I want to give you a quick reminder. And Ernest Kumi defied a court order, an injunction indeed, from the Akwatia High Court that allowed himself to be sworn in as a member of parliament as part of the 9th Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. He said on that occasion that he was going to bear the consequence. In fact, his leaders spoke for him on that occasion. Listen.
92.7.
To Cyril Nsia, he showed a lot of human relationship. He has a very, very good relationship with not just MPs, with the media, the parliamentary staff as well. And
elections for Okaikwe Central, Tema Central, and Techiman South parliamentary elections held on 7 December 2024. I bring you greetings from the Electoral Commission and trust that this letter finds you well. Following the completion of the collation of police station results for Okaikwe Central, Tema Central, and Techiman South constituencies, kindly find attached writ of elections for the parliamentary elections held on 7 December 2024 for the above mentioned constituencies. Also attached is a schedule containing the names of the candidates elected pursuant to Regulation 43 2B of the Public Elections Regulations 2020 CI 127. Again, signed by Samuel Tete, Deputy Chair, Operations for Chairperson. Our members, elect, by this communication, the writs are hereby tabled for the information of the entire House. Our members elect, Order A3 of our standing orders states that a clerk, as a presiding officer, shall conduct a roll call of the members of parliament elect, and a member is expected to respond to the roll call. I now proceed to call out your names in alphabetical order. But before I do so, it is imperative to bring to the attention of honorable members a matter of concern. I say so because I know this is a matter which will come up on this floor. And so it is my noble duty, legally, constitutionally, and procedurally, to draw your attention for your. So I proceed, honorable members. I proceed to issues relating to two constituencies outstanding. And the constituencies are Ablekuma North and Akwatia. Honorable members, would you kindly listen as we proceed? Ablekuma North and Akwatia. The case of Ablekuma North is known to all of us in this honorable house. We don't have writ of elections from the Electoral Commission in respect of Ablekuma North. And therefore, it is impossible to proceed with any matter relating to Ablekuma North in terms of roll call and in terms of the eligibility of a member for that constituency to participate in the election of the Speaker. In the case of Akwatia, the clerk to Parliament was served a process on the 3rd of January 2025 with an order of interim injunction from a high court in Koforidua. This order was served through the legal office of the Parliamentary Service. The order directed the respondents, including the clerk to Parliament, indicating that they are restrained from proceeding to call, admit, register, swear in, recognize, gazette the said Ernest Kumi as the elected member for the Akwatia constituency. At the time of the receipt of the order, the Parliamentary Service had already completed the process of registration of Ernest Kumi as member-elect. This is precisely because the first writ of elections that we received, Ernest Kumi, was part of that process. So we received writ of elections in respect of Ernest Kumi. And without the pendency of any suit, any process, the Parliamentary Service, in compliance with due process, had to register the member. So we did so. Subsequently, it has come to our attention. There's a restraining order of a court. Restraining not just the member, but the clerk to Parliament from proceeding with the registration from proceeding with the members' participation in the election of the Speaker. This is a matter that honorable members ought to know. Since it is a court order, which order restrains the clerk to Parliament as well from proceeding or dealing with a member in this matter, I find myself constrained. So I have brought this matter to the attention of the House. That is my pleasant duty to do. The member may decide, may elect to participate, but in doing so, I'm drawing attention to Article 105 of the Constitution, and I will read, a person who sits or votes in Parliament knowing or having reasonable grounds for knowing that he is not entitled to do so commits an offense and shall be liable on conviction to such penalty as shall be prescribed by or under an enactment of Parliament. Having this, I have discharged my noble duty. I'll end there. At this time, honorable members, I proceed.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, colleagues, please, let's make a headway. Mr. Chairman, we have heard you. This is a house of rules and procedure that is not in doubt. This is a house that relies on precedence. I just have a simple answer to the point you made, and I have the instructions of my respected colleague-elect, Honorable Ernest Kumi, and fortified by the precedence of this house, which precedence is dated 7th of January 2021. I simply, Mr. Chairman, the member so desires to proceed to be sworn in and to also participate in the election of the Speaker and bear the consequences himself.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, honorable members. I proceed with a roll call, and I will invite the head of table to proceed with the.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, we do not want surprises. We do not want surprises. We do not want surprises. I am therefore, for the records, inviting you to respond to the position the honorable member concerned has taken, just for the records, because we don't want surprises as we proceed. So we want to know, so that we take.
Honorable members elect, I have taken note of what the honorable minority leader has said. We will proceed appropriately. Yes. I have taken note of what the honorable minority leader has said. The honorable member heard what we said. He knows the consequences of his actions and inactions. So we leave it there. We will proceed. Right. So, head of table.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, thank you again for the opportunity to speak on this matter. Mr. Chairman, yes, the minority leader has spoken. He spoke for the member. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, since the member-elect is before this House, it will only be right for that member to speak for the records. Mr. Chairman, I say this because the court has issued an order. The said order has been served on the member and the clerk to Parliament. Mr. Chairman, you read to us Article 105 of the Constitution. The honorable member, the minority leader, took responsibility and spoke on behalf of the member-elect. We want to... Yes, I listened to him, I heard him. If he's taking responsibility, let the records reflect. Let the records reflect that the member-elect for Akwatia constituency has disregarded the court order, and the repercussions of Article 105 of the Constitution applies. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That was in Parliament on the 7th of January 2025. Let's go back to Akwatia. The Deputy CEO of the Forestry Commission and Deputy Organizer of the NDC, Alekem Kotoko, speaks.
The General Secretary of the NPP,
critical attention is to be paid to the polling stations.
While these processes are ongoing,
hasn't got any work to do, and they want to help us by
their
filling
voice
posters. I think they can go on ahead and be doing that.
Party
Even
office,
though it is a
and
criminal
went
offense,
peeling off the posters on vehicles and all those things. Those are very defeatist
and that was the only thing that we've seen so far,
very irritating,
which has been a misconduct on the side of the NPP.
But fortunately, our people comported themselves
that we have ready
and contained them,
guys
because
also that
at this
should
point in
anybody try
time,
that again,
critical attention is to be paid to the polling stations. And if the NPP hasn't got any work to do and they want to help us by peeling off posters,
and the
I
fact
think they can go on ahead and be doing that. Even though it is a criminal offense, we will tolerate them to help us peel all the posters around. And that was the only thing that we've seen so far, which has been a misconduct on the side of the NPP. But then we must state that we have readied our guys also that should anybody try that again, the repercussions will be very dire.
In that beating word rounds, these comments
It is not telling you, and the fact that
generally for
you come to my party office
like in
to
normal
peel off
elections.
posters
And we are very hopeful that even if there's a 60%
that are packed in front there,
that will be a
you are
plus
beating
in
a
our
war
favor.
drum. And so we have been very tolerant enough to say that we do not want to respond to that, but we will not tolerate a second occurrence of that.
Thank you. Just quickly, in terms of your confidence level, you've done your work. How well are you doing marshalling your people to come out and vote?
Generally, for by-elections, you do not expect turnout to be like in normal elections. And we are very hopeful that even if there's a 60% voter turnout, that will be a plus in our our favor. And we are looking forward to nothing less than 52.3% of the vote cast today.
Elikem, thank you. I'm sure we'll keep in touch and we'll get along. That's Elikem. We're just hoping we can get a bit more, but that's the polling station and that's the police presence. We see the police as well here. We're having to witness, and I think he's now as well going to catch a glimpse of what is happening there. There were quite a few people who were stations and were, amongst many other things, there are a number of voting. We still see some persons here in line, a mother with her child strapped onto her back. We'll move along from here and get a bit more details. But it's been all to ensure that she's able to cast her ballot. We see the police as well here in quite some number. They've got body cams on themselves when we monitoring 160 that's expected to happen here. Voted. I'm sure that number has gone up because a lot more people have been going through. There's a number of polling stations. That's what it is at this point in time. And we'll continue to monitor. But we'll move along. Your election commander here and get a bit more details. But it's been all peaceful as we continue to go around the various polling stations, electoral areas to vote to get an understanding as to what is expected to happen. 164 people had voted. I'm sure that number has gone up because a lot more people have been going through the queue as well. But that's what it is at this point in time. We continue to
people will associate his decision to go to the court with the NPP and put all manner of spin on it. But the honest truth is that he is a Ghanaian. He has every right to test the law. It is good for our democracy, and it's also good for the development of the law. So I think that, yes, whatever that he's doing now, it is better for us to look out for the outcome as the court or our judges seek to interpret these provisions. Also, the other aspect or one benefit that is going to come out of this is that there are other gray areas as to the provisions of the law that he seeks to interpret. And I feel definitely as an outcome of the interpretation of the court, there's going to be other consequential orders which will help us in terms of the development of our democracy and the law as well. So it's a good exercise for him to embark on. Just that my candid opinion is that it's going to be difficult for him to obtain the release that he sought from the courts.
That's Ernest Kumi there, former member of parliament, now deceased. May he rest in peace. And Akwatia is still on 119 polling stations, looking for the next MP who's going to be Sumadu or Beidou. Elections are underway. It's a by-election. It's heated, very competitive. Some confrontations here and there, but the police have been up to the task, dousing the tensions and making sure that the process flows without hindrance. The individuals and the people out there are also being encouraged to step out and go and vote.
That we will go do by-election at Fenya Marking House. Here not be parliament, oh. Here is a free and fair field. Yeah.
What will be your message to your members, NDC?
Everybody to do ready. If they can't shang, we should come strong. Here where you go lost too much. They go do by election in hometown.
How should they be ready?
They are ready for this.
As Chairman Azoka, they're clearly not excited that the NDC's posters have been pulled down by some elements of the New Patriotic Party, particularly Alexander Afenyo-Markin, Member of Parliament for Futu, is being fingered. Listen.
We understand that Afenyo-Markin was here.
Because of him, where we come here.
You came here because of Afenyo-Markin?
We don't do by-election in hometown.
Why? Why did you come here because of Afenyo-Markin?
Why did you watch here? Is it the NDC? Is it the NDC secretary?
What does he want here?
Is it the NDC secretary? You are coming to our office to do what in our office? Asa, you people are journalists, talk to them. Here you know the parliament where they do no. Here is a freedom, a field.
Well, Chairman Azoka clearly unhappy and irate. Chairman Azoka, well, he says he's not taking it lightly. He actually said that he came here to meet Afenomakin Square, who allegedly stormed the NDC office in Akwatia to remove some of their posters.
We'll go now straight to TV3. A conversation happening on
been peaceful
the Election Command Center, and clearly Beatrice Edu is hosting lawyer Hamza Sohini. A member of the Movement for Change. We'll get now into that conversation here on your Election Command Center.
It was not so far Zoka. So far Zoka was well, but I'll come back to you for that. An MPP vice chairman whose language has been extremely worrying. I'm talking about so far. And that's what I'm talking about this morning. And so, let us not create the impression that it has to do that. Maybe you are not familiar with chairman and so far.
So what I'm trying to say is that
it is important that you should be talking about.
I'm not.
It was not so far Zoka who threw away the microphones.
So the point I'm making is that the political parties. I'm talking about what happened in NDC and you have your responsibilities, whichever way it is. But I'll come back to you for you to finalize your thought. I want us to go back to Helen Ampofu because Armstrong and Louise is reporting from an area with some update from there for us.
Thank you for that, Beatrice. Let's take it now to a man from where my colleague Gold Armstrong is currently at to give us an update of what exactly is happening.
Armstrong, good morning. The political parties, both NDC and MPP, you have your responsibilities.
Yes, whichever where exactly are you? But I'll come back to us for you and what exactly is
finalize your thought. I want us to go back to Helen Ampofu because Armstrong and Louise is reporting from an area with some update from there for us.
Different police stations here.
Let's take it now to a man from where my colleague Gold Armstrong is currently at to give us an update of what exactly is happening. Armstrong, good morning.
183 people are expected to cast their ballot.
Yes, where exactly are you speaking to us from and what exactly is happening?
I have cast their ballot, and then there's also from the African Station where some 331 people are expected to cast their ballot. We have only 131 Akwatia Council Police Station, also AMA Zion Police Station. That's what's happening here. And I checked over here the Akwatia Council when I got to this place. The fact that, you know, earlier, 3 people are expected to cast their ballots, indicating that I checked about a few minutes ago, and about 145 people have cast their ballot protection to what I got officials where some party executives will not be allowed people are expected to cast their ballot. Only 131 to have cast their ballot so far. Personnel carrying their side arms right now. Two things I've observed here when I got to this place is the fact that, you know, earlier the police
right, and we've been told that the Black Maria, the prison on wheels, is making its rounds through the constituency. Have you spotted any such police vans as yet?
Whether government officials or national party executives will not be allowed to Black Maria, and also I saw that it looks like that is in process to have personnel carrying their side arms. Right now, I'll went towards the station where we saw people handcuffed.
Right, and we've been told that the Black Maria, the prison on wheels, is making its rounds through the constituency. Have you spotted any such police vans as yet?
As the Akwatia main lorry station, and also two of that Black Maria, and also I saw that people these two have picked up and two arrests having been so far. What does that mean?
Certainly, and also finally, Armstrong, from where you are reporting, have you cited or spotted any key or leading figures from either the NDC or the NPP?
One particular police station, they were not in the Black Maria. The Black Maria has been at a vantage point that someone as the Africa main lorry station, and also one was engaged in that unfortunate incident with the NDC are still and a few arrests have been so far. There are only 2 people I've seen.
Certainly, and also finally, Armstrong, from where you are reporting, have you cited or spotted any key or leading figures from either the NDC or the NPP?
On the day of the election, they will not allow anybody with child. I'm coming close so far, I only saw these are the people I've seen, vice chair and
certainly, Armstrong, thank you so much for that comprehensive update. I'm sure we'll be coming back to you in due course. We go back to Beatrice for some more conversation.
Indeed, thank you very much, Helen. And I'm coming straight to you, Mr. Suhini, because you were making a point about the need for for certain groups of political parties to really call their people to order when there is violence or any utterance that could instigate violence, as it were?
Yes, I think that I was clear in my earlier submission.
Certainly, Armstrong, thank you so much for that comprehensive update.
Even after
the
Ghana Police Service engaged in a strenuous exercise of engaging all political parties and other stakeholders as far as this by-election is concerned.
We're making a point
the
about
NPP was the first to start beating the war drums. You remember immediately after the engagement, their national organizer
when there is violence or any utterance that could instigate violence, as it were.
NDC was planning to cause mayhem and that they were ready to defend themselves. This was examples abound, even after of an engagement with the Ghana Police Service, where both political parties had made commitments to the police. As far as he thought it this by-election is concerned, working out of that particular engagement was the first to decide to continue. Remember, immediately after the engagement, and nobody condemned it. Nobody called him out. So many of his colleagues took an inspiration from that. 2 days or 3 days ago, their director of communications, in the person of Mr. Richard at the back, organized a press conference of an engagement with the Ghana Police Service, where both political parties had made a commitment. The NDC was bouncing people to foment trouble in Akwatia. Working out of that particular engagement, to use the internally recognized to beat the war drum of reporting such incidents to the Ghana Police. Even after a meaningful engagement with the Ghana Police, they decided to 2 days or 3 days ago, the director of communications towards exciting their support base and conscientizing them to prepare for violence. We kept quiet. And so, based on the intelligence that they had gathered, these things may appear negligible, especially when it comes to dealing with issues of conflict in elections. They failed to use the internally recognized it becomes the basis upon which many of our soldiers to the Ghana Police. And even so after a meaningful engagement with the Ghana Police, they decided to play politics when it comes to electoral process. And it was all geared. Those of you, especially in the media, support must begin pointing out some of these excesses and denying them the opportunity or platform. Beatrice, to use many of these things may appear negligible, especially when it comes to dealing with issues of conflict. So,
Mr. Sweeney, what I hear you say, and I'm coming back to you very shortly, Professor Enoch, and what I hear you say is that going into this very by-election, you believe that the NDC has committed to peace as compared to the NPP, and perhaps it's time for the party itself, as in the opposition party, to call its members
and denying them the opportunity of been consistent to use to foment trouble or conscientize our support base and prepare them for war when it is only an election.
So, Mr. Sweeney, what I hear you say, and I'm coming back to you very shortly,
was elected as a flag
and what I hear you say is that going into this very by-election, you believe that the NDC has committed to peace as compared to the NPP, and perhaps it's time for the party itself, as in the opposition party, to call its members to order. That's what you're saying.
And gentility consistent even the internal politics of the NDC. And so his political psychology has shaped for the way we handle our activities. In the last 16 years, Professor John Evans was elected as our flag bearer. Many. Since then, he go back to history and observe our trajectory of even the internal politics of the NDC. No. It is because we manage change of leadership. There's a certain set of leadership. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama took over beautifully. And you saw what they did to us in West, even the internal politics of the NDC. And so his political psychology has shaped the way we handle our activities in the last 16 years. Then and now, that is why the NDC, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. So there's a marked departure knew how we were born activities of the NDC. Now brand us as being timid. I think that the country must begin calling them out. And in this set of leaders, our party and so far we have discharged ourselves beautifully. And you saw what they did to us in West Wago. And they could have reacted in an equal manner, but we decided to manifest themselves in an equal manner.
And I'll come back to you, Mr. Sweeney. I'm coming back to you, Professor. You were making a point earlier.
His Excellency President John Dramani.
Yes.
So there's a marked
so please, I want you to
when it comes to the activities of the NDC and that of the NPP.
Yes,
and I think that the country must begin calling them out. And in this election, you have seen our party officials.
I'm not impressed with what is going on. Imagine me fighting in public and my daughter or son will see me doing this in the name of politics.
To manifest themselves in an equal manner.
And I'll come back to you, Mr. Sweeney.
I'm coming back to you,
politics
has become a POS running our lives in such a way that we can't even discern the truth from the lies and then the right from the wrong. But wrong is wrong no matter who is leading it or who is behind it. That's the law of categorical imperative. I'm not impressed. A couple of things I need to address. One, the Peace Council was late in going to Akwatia. My daughter or son will see They should have gone there earlier. See, public education It's a pivotal part of democracy.
But
Where
the
politics
Peace Council issued a statement earlier before going to Akwatia.
Yes, but they could have gone there to publicly, go to the churches and the mosques, as Sheikh has been in the program with me before. But wrong is wrong, no matter go there to the mosque and the churches and then talk to the people that this coming elections we want peace. You don't wait till the last minute before you go there and try to shag the people that we need peace. Because already, you see, what politicians do all over the world is that
public education,
there are people who are really good at convincing people at the grassroots.
The Peace Council issued a statement earlier.
They have persuasion skills.
And
people talk about, yes, but they could have gone there talk about publicly, go to the churches and the mosques, as Sheikh has been in the program. Politicians have go there to the mosques and the churches and then talk to the people that this coming elections we want peace. Politics is you don't wait till the last minute before you go there and try to shag the people. So NDC had the philosophy and because had the philosophy. If you convince the person, all over the world vote for you. And though it has shown in Akwatia that the people, the good people of Akwatia are very discerning when they come to voting because it has been a people talk about academia. I'll talk about 1992, 1996. What we look for NDC won. People who are politicians. Politicians won again. Even this current election, the 2024 people was being contested at Akwatia. And politics is two sides of persuasion. So you can tell philosophies. It's a swing constituency. It goes to NDC, then it goes to NPP. That means that they decide who they want. And remember that there were times that the people, the good people of Akwatia are very discerning when it comes to voting because it has been a swing constituency. 1992, 1996, I'm from Koforia. Eastern region is like that. Even this current election, the 2024, was being contested at Koforia. Everywhere we are together. So you can tell that it's a swing constituency. When you come from Eastern region, it goes to NPP. That means that they decide who they want. I remember that there were times that I talk about we should be people from northern indigenous have worked in going to these areas and speaking to them before the election starts. Because once the politicians begin to go there with their voice like the United Nations, I'm from Koforia. Eastern region is like that. But the person is already charged. If the person is not in their sound mind, there's no way you can talk peace to them. We are together. Now, so coming back, let's also talk about the tribalistic when you come from Eastern region because of what happened, the violence and of you staying together in one place. So the violence that I talk about, we should be careful. I don't want to talk about what I've done in going to these areas and speaking to them before the election starts. Because once the politicians begin to go there with their voice and they charge the atmosphere, it is difficult for you to talk about peace. And the person is already charged. If the person is not in their sound mind, there's no way you can talk peace to them. So now coming back, let's also talk about the Ablekuma North, what happened, the violence. Have we learned something? This is we've not learned anything. I don't want to talk about. Yes, I don't want to talk about what I've done.
For instance, we saw criticism of the police that the police stood by as people misbehaved and there was violence eventually. Going into Akwatia, we've seen the police say that they are deploying about 5,500 men. We saw them go to a community a bit far from Akwatia to train.
So let me explain, Beatrice. If we have men, we wouldn't have 5,000 people. We don't seem to listen to this. What is the population? So 52,000 and then you have 5,000 police officers at just one by-election. The result is not going to do anything in Parliament because NDC already have the two-third majority. So it's not going to change any dynamics in Parliament. And I'll talk about, we are not just looking for somebody to replace another person in Parliament. The competencies, the other thing that we should be looking for. The reason why I'm saying we have not learned, we wouldn't have had 5,000 people at if you look at, I talk about Atiwa and all the other by-elections, you see some pockets of violence. So why can't we just say that, okay, anything in Parliament? I belong to NDC because I also belong to already have the two-third majority. We need to respect each other's choice. So it's not going to change any dynamics in Parliament. Do not interfere. And I'll talk about, we are not just looking for somebody to go stand in the line quietly and vote. The competencies, the other thing that we should be looking for. The reason why I'm saying we have not learned Europe is that in North America, there's no police officer. I talk about Atiwa. Your wife can be an NDC and the man can be an MPP. And so what? It's their choice. So why can't we just say that, okay, we don't need police, I belong to NDC. I also belong to MPP. We are not learning. We need to respect each other's choice because even God who created us do not interfere in our choices. Allow individuals to go stand in the line quietly and vote. You don't even need the police service. I've watched elections.
This year is going to be sweet. I don't just feel it, I know it because the Luckiest Season 3 is back.
and I'm about to show you how to grab your golden ticket. Just dial *712# and follow the prompts to purchase your ticket. Or go to theluckiestafrica.com, hit community tickets, and pick your lucky number.
Or let the system do its magic. Choose how much you want to spend from 1 to 5,000 Ghana cedis. You can even buy a ticket for someone else. Be someone's hero. Payment? Easy. Mobile money in Ghana or card if you're international.
One ticket can turn 1 CD into 500 times more. That's smarts we love. Or your community will win 10 times more. So let's get lucky together because luck is everywhere.
Play responsibly, not for persons under 18 years. This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Join us for the 4th Made in Ghana Bazaar by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs with its stakeholders at the Accra International Conference Center. 5th to 7th September, 9 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. daily. Themed, Championing Economic Diplomacy, Connecting Producers, Markets and Opportunities. Exhibitors include Ghanaian businesses and embassies. The bazaar promotes Ghana's products abroad and fosters international trade. Enjoy Latif Abubakar's Ghana Must Go and other vibrant entertainers plus free entry. Sponsors Ghana Exim Bank, GNPC, Green Power Properties, Zonda Tech Ghana, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, GRA, Free Zones Authority, Ghana Shippers Authority, Upsol Consult, We Shop Africa, and B5 Plus. Beverage partner, Twillium Industries, clothing partners, ATL and Wooden, official media partners, GBC, Multimedia, and SP Agency. The 4th Made in Ghana Bazaar at AICC, 5th to 7th September. Connect and promote Ghana's goods to the world.
Hello, Ghana. It's a new year and Bills Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596-920-833 or 0302-200-390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
Luck is everywhere for everyone. The winning season is back, but this time I am collecting the wins like jollof at a wedding. The luckiest season 3 is here. Your chance to flip your luck or maybe your bank accounts too.
2 easy ways to join. Dial *712#. Hit 1 to buy for you or 2 to gift a friend. Feeling lucky? Pick 1 for a random number or hit 2 to choose your own. Pay with mobile money. Done. You're in.
Or go to theluckiestafrica.com, click community tickets, choose your number, or let the system do so for you. You can buy a ticket for your boo or your favorite barber. Pay with Mumu or card if you're abroad.
1 ticket could turn your 1 Ghana cedi into 500 times more. And the whole community could win 10 times over.
Dial *712# or log on.
Let's get lucky together because luck is everywhere.
Play responsibly, not for persons under 18 years. This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
As Suni said, we need to call those people out. Like, for example, the accusation that the police against NDC sending 3,000 people to Akwatia, and out of 3,000 will be made to wear police uniforms.
And I will let you conclude on that thought. I want us to go to Yvonne Nekwe, our Eastern Regional Correspondent. She's got some news for us. Helen Ampofo is on standby to bring us that. Helen.
Thank you for that, Beatrice. And that's right, our Eastern Regional Correspondent, Yvonne Nekwe, is on the grounds. Let's find out exactly where she is
and what is happening.
Yvonne,
good morning. NDC is sending 3,000 able to Akwatia. And
where exactly are you speaking to us from, and what is happening?
Police uniform.
And I'll let you conclude on that thought. I want us to go to Yvonne Nekwe, issue regional correspondent. She's got some news for us. Helen Ampofo is on standby to bring us that.
Thank you for that, Beatrice. And that's right, our Eastern regional correspondent Yvonne Nekwe is on the ground. Let's find out exactly where she is and what is happening. Yvonne, good morning.
Good morning.
Where exactly are you speaking to us from, and what is happening?
Security officers. Helen, I am currently at when she the hometown of the deceased MP. For which reason we're having the by-election today.
Right, Yvonne, thank you for that.
The IGP is in town visiting the polling station, trying to interact with men on the ground. As visiting a number of polling stations, interacting with security officers and
all right, Yvonne, and you say the IGP has been crisscrossing across the various polling stations. We'd like to take a listen, though, to what he's been saying so far.
To the people,
right, Yvonne, thank you for that.
All the political parties, and you did. And you didn't stay in Accra, but you have also come to the ground. You were there, you had meetings with them again on the ground over here, and today you are on the ground. I'm so surprised seeing you. And this is one of the wonderful...
All right, Yvonne, and you said the IGP has been crisscrossing across the various polling stations. We'd like to take a listen, though, to what he's been saying so far.
And when we went together, I think from here, all the political parties, and then you didn't stay in Accra, themselves. You have also come to the ground. You were there, you had meetings with them again on the ground over here, and today you are on the ground. I'm so surprised to see you. And this is one of the wonderful days that you as we start. I think we will continue to work. And when we work together, I think from here, I'm sure everybody will come. And then we shall meet the people are comforting themselves. And then the officials are also working without any fear. And then the police are also giving the protection they have to give. The day is still your only police. We know that just as we start, to go through the process like that to the end. At the end of the day,
IGP then speaking, IGP talking about the numbers of police personnel deployed to Akwatia for this by-election. He says that it's been peaceful so far. Yvonne, you've also been crisscrossing the various polling centers. A lot of police presence across these polling centers, and there was a question posed to the IGP concerning intimidation. Do you think that intel that some of the residents, some of the constituents might be feeling intimidated by this increased number of police in their vicinity? The number of police personnel deployed to Akwatia for this by-election. He says that it's been peaceful so far. Yvonne, you've also been crisscrossing the various polling centers. A lot of police presence across these polling centers, and there was a question posed to the IGP concerning intimidation. Do you pick that intel that some of the residents, some of the constituents might be feeling intimidated by this increased number of police in their vicinity?
I was interacting with Helen, that is not so. He says that the constituents have already accepted the presence of the police in this community. Before today, they did say that they were worried about the situation, but now they are okay with the numbers. That's why we're seeing a huge number of other politicians before they do join the community and then cast their ballot.
Very interesting indeed, Yvonne. You say some residents say they are waiting for someone to do something before they actually make their way to the polling centers. What do you infer from that? They're waiting for some lubrication of the palms?
Apparently, is waiting for rightly so. For many of them who are yet to have their ballot, it is not because of the police, probably and some waiting on the politicians before they do join the elections and then see her and do.
Very interesting indeed, Yvonne. You say some residents say they are waiting for someone to do something before they actually make their way to the polling centers. What do you infer from that? They're waiting for some lubrication of the palms?
Before they join the crucible. So they have been the situation where we're seeing huge numbers on the streets that a number of politicians have visited their ballot with clothes.
Right, and finally, apart from those who are waiting for some extra incentive to actually make their way to the polling centers, how do you assess the voter turnout so far across the various centers that you have been at this morning?
And so she feels that this is the appropriate time to take whatever they have to take from whoever is sharing it before they join the peaceful. So that has been the situation where we are seeing quite a huge number on the street. But not at the polling center to have their ballot.
Right, Yvonne, and finally, apart from those who are waiting for some extra incentive to actually make their way to the polling centers, how do you assess the voter turnout so far across the various centers that you have been at this morning?
It's been a peaceful process so far. Huge police presence and visibility. And here at Wenche, it's been a very peaceful process so far. We've done the peace is still maintained so far. And we're seeing quite a number of people enter the polling stations. People were not seeing that queue as long as we see them in December elections or general elections stations, or the polling is the only concern. Otherwise, it's been a peaceful process so far. Huge police presence and visibility.
Yvonne, thank you so much for that update. Of course, in due course, we will be speaking with you for some further updates. And that is Yvonne Ikwea, Eastern Regional Correspondent. But let's also take a listen to what Joseph Yamin of the NDC had to say about voter turnout as well as security in the Akwatia constituency.
What is worrying is the turnout. We could see more observers.
Yvonne, thank you so much for that update. Of course, in due course, we will be speaking with you for some further updates. And that is Yvonne Ikwea, Eastern Regional Correspondent. But let's also take a listen to what Joseph Yamin of the NDC had to say about voter turnout as well as security in the Akwatia constituency.
The turnout is low, especially when the MPP process in selecting who their candidate wasn't transparent. A number of persons wanted to contest. They were prevented from contesting. I must say the former MP was prevented from contesting. The constituency chairman also wanted to contest. Unlike we, the NDC, giving room for other persons to want to come in and contest. We got one out of that. That's loyal to the MPP. Didn't have selecting who their candidate was. So probably the people who didn't see a transparent process in selecting a candidate who also feel that the candidate they brought is not the kind of candidate that can bring in the development that Akwatia needs. Might be the reason why they are not coming out. But it's early days yet. We want to see how the process will go as the time tickets in. But so far, within 1 hour and some few minutes, the turnout is not encouraged. I don't see why the presence of the security should scare anybody who is in to vote. Others have come in there, walk through the system, nobody prevents them. They don't even encounter or have any form of interaction with the security personnel. They go, they vote. It doesn't take them 5 minutes, they are off the polling center. So why would those in the house attribute they are not coming out to vote because of the police presence around? Secondly, the police you see around is police without rifles. The only time you see and you are scared when somebody is holding them, you don't even have people who are just counter or to ensure that there's orderliness, there's interaction with process that will give us it doesn't take them 5 minutes off the polling center.
So all right, and let's now also take a listen to the national organizer of the NPP, Henry Nanabuachi, also speaking on similar matters.
Secondly, the police you see around police without rifles.
So far,
the only time you see
a turnout
is when somebody is holding
relatively low.
People who are just here to ensure that
this is a very strong feature of any by-election, characteristic of any by-election there.
All right, and let's now also take a listen to the national organizer of the NPP, Henry Nanabuachi, also speaking on similar matters.
During the counting,
so far,
and then
so good.
The coalition
turnout,
that is where usually we
relatively
have
low
challenges. So far, the security we are okay with it.
A very
as you can see, there's heavy deployment of
any by-election,
police personnel here,
by-election there.
And this is good.
Security, so far so good.
Usually after voting, during the counting process, and then during the coalition process, that is where we've witnessed some of these unfortunate issues. And then I will just reiterate that
is where usually we have
They must beef up security around this period, especially getting closer to the end of heavy deployment of during counting and then police personnel here. And that is where we expect that they would usually also deliver. After voting, I mean, the IGP said that this is going to be one of the most peaceful by-elections. That is where we witnessed some of these unfortunate him to issues. I will just reiterate that. Thank you very much. They must beef up security around this period, especially getting closer to the end of polls, relatively low during counting and then during collation. I mean, that is where we will expect that a very strong future deliver. I mean, the IGP has said that this is going to be one of the most peaceful characteristic of any by-election there. Turnout is usually low. But I'm using your... Thank you very much.
All right, and let's also take you to the Takrasi SDA Basic School. Christian Yali is our man on the beat.
Relatively low. I mean, this is a very strong feature of any by-election.
At the Takrasi SDA Basic School, where we expect about some 674 valid voters to show up here to cast their ballot. As of now, per the information I have from the presiding officer, Samuel Obin, we have some 200 plus out of the 674 who have showed up right now to come to cast their ballot as part of this by-election. He tells a story basically about how impressive the turnout has been so far since this process started as of around 7 a.m. today. But he mentions something, for instance, that even during the main election, they did not see all of the voters show up to come to vote. And so they wouldn't expect all of the 674 who have showed up right now. He is optimistic that about some 400 plus should be able to come by the time post close. But I have with me Benjamin Banobio, who is the director of electoral services so far at the Electoral Commission. You are live on TV3 Ghana 7 a.m. today, but so he mentions you've been something, for instance, a number of these even during the main election here, they did not see all of the voters show up to come to vote, and so they wouldn't expect all the 674 to come yet. He is optimistic that about some 400 plus should be able to come by the time post close. But I have with me Benjamin Banobio, who is the director of electoral services at the Electoral Commission. You are live on TV3 Ghana. So far, I know you've been touring a number of these polling stations. You've been here taking briefs of all that have been happening. What is the update that you have so far? So far, almost all across, we've witnessed very serene and calm process, security very tight and all of that. On your side, we know that usually when it gets to the final collation that you get to see a lot of these issues springing up and even the pocket of violence and the rest. What are the measures that you have put in place from your outfit as the EC?
Thank you very much. We'll be able to chalk a higher voter turnout. Before this election, we intensify publicity. I mean,
so far, almost all across, we have witnessed very serene and calm process, security very tight and all of that. On your side, we know that usually when it gets to the final collation that you get to see a lot of these issues springing up and even the pocket of violence and the rest. What are the measures that you have put in place from your outfit as the EC?
We have engaged the political parties at all levels. So they are taking part in this election. We intensify publicity and public during printing, they were with us. When they brought them here, they have been with us. During packaging, they were with us. When we were distributing, they were with us. And at the polling stations, we are put in place. And we are all going through to ensure that. So it's the system is done in a very transparent manner through and ensure that the right thing is done. This time round, we have the tablet. So at the close of pool, when they have signed all the pin sheets by the presiding officer and the agent, in this election, give copies to the agents as usual. They were with us when at the polling station as usual. Then we packaging. They were with us when we were distributing. They were with us. And at the polling station to a dedicated portal so that it will serve as a backup for the commission. But we will still submit the hard copy to the return officer for the coalition. This time round, we have the tablet. So I can assure you that the security, when they have signed all the pin sheets, and we can all attest to that, they are put in place such measures that I don't think anybody can do any foul activity.
But what we have also seen is that almost all the top hierarchy of the political parties have gathered in Akwatia to witness this. In one way or the other, there are some who have even said that if their parties do not win, they would resign as MPs and all of that. How do you see their presence here in any way influencing how the turnout should be?
I don't think anybody we are all Ghanaians. This is a by-election for Akwatia.
But what we have also seen is that almost all the top hierarchy of the political parties have gathered in Akwatia to witness this. In one way or the other, there are some who have even said that if their parties do not win, they would resign as MPs and all of that. How do you see their presence here in any way influencing how the turnout should be? So far, you would say that the turnout has been impressive wherever you've been to.
Yeah, for now, as I indicated, this is a by-election around 11 o'clock, and so any peace-loving to go beyond 20%. Any peace-loving leader of a political party can come here.
We'll still come back to you. We'll still come back to you for some more conversation as it unfolds. But this has been Benjamin Banobio, who is the Director of Electoral Services, Electoral Commission. Thank you so much. So that is the update you have there. So far, you would say that the turnout has been impressive wherever you've been turnout so far concerning the by-election in Akwatia. Where we are right now is the SDA Basic School. What we also know, the understanding that we have is that very soon the parliamentary candidate for the National Democratic Congress, more conversation as it unfolds. But this has been Benjamin Banobio, who is the Director of Electoral Services, Electoral Commission. Thank you so much. So that is the update you have there. So far, very good, impressive turnout so far concerning the by-election in Akwatia. Where we are right now is the SDA Basic School. What we also know, the understanding that we have is that very soon the parliamentary candidate for the National Democratic Congress, Bernard, the police and the security would visit to ensure that one of the centers, we are keeping tabs on that very one, and as and when he shows up, have some difficulty in one way or the other, him to bring you all the update. I am Christian Yale. Back to you in studio. The direction is very clear. Once you need any assistance, you're given that assistance at the SDA Basic School. Very serene, very calm in that order. That is the update when there is someone among them like a pregnant woman who needs to be, whose process needs to be fast-tracked. Like the police and the security assist in that to ensure that such persons who are pregnant or are ill or have some difficulty in one way or the other are ably assisted quickly. But once you get here, the direction is very clear. Once you need any assistance, you're given that assistance and you're able to proceed to go to cast your ballot. And so that is the update so far from Takoradi SDA Basic School. There are other centers like the Methodist Center, we have the SHS Center as well, and even the Deba grounds, and even the funeral grounds, which areas that we're going to visit very shortly. You can take over from the studios.
Thank you so much for that. Christian Yali speaking to us from the Takoradi Basic School where voting is underway. We also know that the IGP, Christian Tete, has finished his tour of the various polling centers. Let's take a listen to his interaction with the members of the press.
Many other elections ended with some skirmishes, but I assure you that this one, we've got on our side. And then with the preparations and the training, the men went to Huhunya and trained very well. So as we see them, they are ready to decide their duties without any fear or favor. And that is what we are seeing. As I assure you, this one will be, yes, an election that will set a tone for future elections. Before coming here, other elections, there were no social media threats. People say we are coming here with weapons, we are coming to attack and all those things. And so with our presence, now they feel safe that they can come out and vote peacefully. And that is what is encouraged. Even the electoral officers who are there, they are very happy. In some areas when you go for election, you see that they are not comfortable because they know they can also be attacked at any time. But now when you see them, because they are comfortable before coming here, with the police deployment. There were no social media threats. People say we are coming here with weapons, we are coming to attack and all those things. And so with our presence, now they feel safe that they can come out and vote peacefully. And that is what is encouraged. Even enough measures, you have seen it already. Electoral officers who are there, they are happy. In some areas when you go for election, you see that They are not comfortable because they know they can also be attacked at any time. But now when you see them, they are comfortable and happy with the police deployment. You are also happy. Thank you very much. Because nobody can attack you. Okay? Thank you.
All right, and that was the IGP there speaking. He says, I believe violence is a thing of the past. The focus now is on Akwatia. Beatrice, we come back to you and your panel.
Indeed, the IGP sounding all confident. I think he believes or he knows what work is done on the ground, and I trust that his men will execute the plan to ensure that we don't repeat the violence we've seen in previous by-elections. Let me acknowledge the presence as well.
All right, and that was the IGP there speaking.
Professor Sapon, he's a senior researcher with the Kumasi Technical University. Prof, it's great to have you.
Back to you.
You're just joining us, so let me get your thoughts on that latest statement coming from the IGP that he believes this is going to be peaceful, Ablikuma, not to be a thing of the past. I trust that his men will execute the plan to ensure that we don't repeat the violence we've seen in previous by-elections. Let me acknowledge the presence as well of
if we keep referring to that, and the police would want to be made to remember, compare and contrast while they are currently facing a task.
So let me get your thoughts on that latest statement coming from the IGP that he believes
they should focus on Akwatia, and we agree so far it's been quite good. We want to believe that when it gets to the peak, where polls begin to close and counting begins, sorting and counting commences, where people seeing the heap of the other. For example, if a polling station sees that one side is going up and currently facing a task, try to destroy the exercise. That's where we may need the police very much. But in Ablikuma, even somewhere by this time, you remember, we had heard that when the chaos has erupted. And so Akwatia is relatively better. So far, we would commend the police not to let them lose their guard, but to continue to remain focused so that at least for once, we would end the day without any issues to discuss, any bad issues to discuss, but the good ones.
Let me find out from you as well what you make of Nana Boakye, his comments. There seems to have been a shift, even in terms of his tonation. The fact that he commended the IGP, he seemed to have been impressed with the security so far. Does it give you information that maybe something has been learnt in the last few days so now?
Well, it's usual of politicians when they are in opposition to start thinking that the system is going to work against them,
as well what you make
including the police. Sometimes you don't trust anybody, including the police. It has happened to the NDC opposition. It is now happening to the MPP opposition. But then, this is the day, and you have
should it
witnessed
does
how
it give you
police
information that maybe something has been learnt in the last few days
situations that came up?
Well, it's usual
as human as politicians, we have to admit that his suspicions and earlier mistrust of the professionalism of the police has been so far proven to be wrong. So it was in order that we would commend the police, as we all are doing. We just want to hope that they would keep to what is happening till everything is closed in Akwatia and declaration is done and everybody goes home. We do not want to have an instance where at least have to admit that even one person would get injured or any chaotic situation will characterize so far how professional the police has been. It was in order that he would
and when we come back, I'll get a thought as well of Mr. Buckman. Okay, so let me get your thought. You were on the floor before we went on the ground to bring us the latest from there. You were making some points earlier, and then you could add your own understanding of what the IGP is saying, and indeed Henry Nana Boakye as well of the MPP.
Yeah, I mean, this IGP is an operations man, so I'm not surprised that he's on the ground and being able to
when we come back, I'll get a thought as well of Mr.
So far.
Buckman. Okay, so let me get your thought. You were on the floor before we went on the ground to bring us the latest from there. You were making some points earlier, and then you could add your own understanding of what the IGP is saying.
We have to have
and indeed
5,500 boots
Henry Nana Boakye
on the
well
ground
the MPP.
to be able to have a peaceful election in a constituency like what we are having now. Then our democracy is sick. He's on the ground, and yes, then our democracy is sick, and we need to give special attention to our democracy in respect of our elections.
So you will not even commend the IGP and the police for deploying men. You think that if our democracy was strong enough, we shouldn't see this, like Professor Enoch said earlier.
We need to look at the cost. The cost of having the 5,500 policemen in Akwatia.
So, what about the general elections? Can every constituency get 5,000?
Can every constituency get over 5,000 men? I want you to hold on. Let's get the latest from.
So you will not even commend the IGP and the police for deployment.
You think that if our democracy
was strong enough, we shouldn't see this, like Judith Brown is our woman on the beat. Judith, I hope you're well. Hope you're well situated. What can you tell us, and where exactly are you speaking to us from?
What about the general elections? Can every constituency get 5,000?
Can every constituency get over 5,000 men? I want you to hold on. Let's get the latest.
484 registered voters who are supposed to be voting at this particular center. And so far, there are 131 people who have voted so far. And so you can see behind me heavy police presence. I can count about 30 policemen already that are dotted at various points just at this polling center. And it's quite interesting knowing that we have about 5,500 policemen and 484 registered voters who are supposed to be voting at this particular center. So far, there are 131 arrangements that have been made here so far. And so you can see behind me, so far, heavy police presence has been very smooth. But you can see policemen already that are dotted at various points. I'm going to try and speak to some of them. A lot of people are still gathered. Voting is going very slowly, knowing that we have about 5,500 already cast their votes. As I said, just 134 people have already voted. And so I'm going to try and engage some of the people who are still standing here even after voting at the Akwatia constituency. And quite a pensive mood. The voting process has been very smooth. What would be the outcome gathered here of this particular election? I'm going to try and speak to some of them. A lot of people are still gathered. Voting is going very slowly. We've seen quite a number of people having already cast their votes. As I said, 134 people have already voted. So I'm going to try and engage some of the people who are still standing here even what the process has been.
So far, everything
and you can see they're in quite a pensive mood.
I have not seen any.
Most of them are waiting really what would be the outcome of this particular election. I'm going to be speaking to some of them now. What are you doing? Good afternoon.
No
What's your name,
one
please? You're live on TV.
doing anything wrong.
Are you a voter here?
Everyone is peaceful, calm.
Okay, so what is your observation so far of the election that has happened here and what the process has been?
Who wins the election will be true winner.
And are you a member of this constituency?
No, I'm a member of Achim Swedru.
So why did you come all the way here just to observe this election?
No one is, you know, Ghana, we need peaceful election. And as a Ghanaian, I have to come and observe because when it's counting.
And are you a member of this constituency?
Ridiculous things like fighting.
Achim Swedru. So why did you come all the way here just to observe this election? Thank you very much. And so you heard that is an observer who is here to, of course, watch really what the process is. He's coming all the way from Achim Swedru. And of course, it raises questions about really what really is happening in this constituency and why are so many people here, even though they are not from the constituency. I'm going to engage another man. Hello, sir. Are you a member of this constituency?
Yes, please.
And are you voting today?
We are done with it because it has already been done. The election has. Can't you see the?
Thank you very much. And so you heard that is an observer who is here to, of course, watch really what the process is. He's coming all the way from Achim Swedru. And of course, it raises questions about really what really is happening in this constituency and why are so many people here, even though they are not from the constituency. I'm going to engage another man. Hello, sir. Are you a member of this constituency? And are you voting today?
We are done with it. Can go to Parliament, and after Parliament, he can go and speak with the President of the day. Now, they are looking for a clean job. Now, look at what is going on. 8 consecutive years. Look at the number of from both of the past. So what they are saying is that now, Chief of Staff has spoken with the entire constituency that this is their life for them to come and then tell the whole world that they want development. We are giving them the assurance that come 2028, if the word is not after Parliament, we can't go and speak with the president. We are going to do it so that they are looking for. We are winning. Come 7 o'clock, and from there, the MP, look at the lawyer, will be here for 20 consecutive years because he is come to make a tremendous change in the lives of Akwatia constituency. Where Wenti here is no exception. Look at Wenti, that constituency. This is their life for them to come and then tell the whole world that
but the party that's been the NDC has won also 4 times and the MPP 5 times. It means that this constituency is more of a swing constituency, and so they've given both the NDC and the MPP an equal opportunity to govern or to be MPs in this constituency. You say that it's been 8 years, but of course, before they voted the late Ernest Kumi into power, the NDC was also in power. What you say to that? He was also leading. But the party that's been the NDC has won also 4 times and the MPP 5 times. It means that this constituency is more of a swing constituency, and so they've given both the NDC and the MPP an equal opportunity to govern or to be MPs in this constituency. You say that it's been 8 years, but of course, before they voted the late Ernest Kumi into power, the NDC was also in power. What you say to that? He was also leading.
So in order to stop the issue that has happened before, then they have to get to the lawyer. Lawyer can have the DC. We have the DC here, who is an NDC. Lawyer being an NDC, and then President Mahama be the president of the day. The reason why they could say that, and then they will left at the right side of the line. Let me give you another. I went to this place to MPP. I just saw when he go to Parliament, and I couldn't. I entered to somebody's house, so I was able to, ease myself. How can a place that the order is given the wrong road? So I had already a better amount. And you that has happened, then they have to public the lawyer. Lawyer can have the DC, we have the DC here.
But the blame you are putting, that's what I keep saying. Ernest Kumi was in power for just a few months before his demise, and before him was a member of parliament from the NDC. So how do you put the blame on them?
That's what I could I entered to somebody's house. Okoye was able to there. I mean, present my issue. How can they have to go through that they call central government? Yes, and according to them, when that opportunity is given to Okoye will come and boss out.
Unfortunately, we have the blame you are putting. That's what I keep saying. Ernest Kumi was in power for just a few months before his demise, and before him
seems to be a bit of a peace broker. We might need to send him over to the Presby Church Polling Station where Eric Mauna Egbeta is standing by, and the tensions rising there. Mauna, if you can hear us, what exactly is happening where it is that you are standing?
And according to them, when that opportunity is given to Okoye will come and boss out.
Judith, unfortunately, we have to cut through. All right, we'll attempt to reconnect with my colleague there, Mauna Egbeta. He tells us he's at the Presby Church Polling Station. Let's take a listen to exactly what's happening. Over to the Presby Church Polling Station where Eric Mauna Egbeta is standing by, and there are tensions rising there. Mauna, if you can hear us, what exactly is happening where it is that you are standing?
As well here. We're seeing the Member of Parliament, Ochubefi, as well here. Their presence, from what I understand from one of the polling station, presiding officers at the polling station, is that they just came round and tensions kind of escalated. There's no other member of the opposition in terms of top brass really around, but just their presence of factors that there's been reinforcement on the part of the police, which was seen. I've seen the national organizer as well here, and we've seen the Member of Parliament, Ochubefi, as well here. Conversations their presence, from what I understand from the police are asking the polling station, presiding officers at the polling station, from the polling station, they just came round, tensions will be calm. Tensions kind of escalated. There's no other member of the opposition which were here in terms of top brass really around, but just their presence and the rest of the guys, the reinforcement on the part of the police, which was seen. We're seeing of the situation and all of that. A number of individuals, and then we're seeing amongst many other conversations about persons being dispersed as the police are asking that since then the police has been in charge from the polling station, so that report of tensions will be calm. Just their presence here, about a lot of vehicles which were here, which was police reinforcement, which was seen here, and the rest of the guys gather in quite some number, and you can see the front police, the nature of the situation and all of that here they move out of the place amongst many other things. And so that's what we know. Of their side. We're just being a bit careful in terms of speaking to persons who might want to overly exaggerate detail. That's why we resorted just quickly to the presiding officer who tells us that reinforcement, which just their presence here, which has kind of gathered tensions a bit. And we're seeing the police presence here, but no clear indication as to any physical, any disagreement or fights. What happened from your perspective? What can you tell them? To persons who might want to overly exaggerate detail. That's why we resorted just quickly to the presiding officer who tells us that look, it's just their presence here which has kind of spooked tensions a bit.
You see those standing behind me, they came down from the vehicle.
No clear indication
and they came in pairs and tribes towards us as we were sitting on the tires. They stood behind us. All of a sudden we saw that they came in front of us. Then closely, you see where these guys are standing, all of them came in there. And the police saw that they were getting closer to the center. And so the only thing they have to do is to just ask them to move a retreat. When they got there, one guy was taking video, which I have not seen the person. You see those standing behind then they quickly asked, why are you taking video? Why are you chasing? All of us, I want to see that they started beating the ball. And tracks as why he was taking video. Sitting on the tire. That is unfair. They stood behind us
for peace.
All of a sudden we saw that they came in front of us.
Everything was very calm. People came, vote and go back. The police were doing their duties very well.
And we shouldn't have gone to this stage. And you saw the NDCs coming in. This is a show of MPP. If they want to reprisal, we cannot be able to stay here. When they got there, one guy was taking video.
You are claiming it's NDC, but you've also seen the top executives of the NPP who have come here. I think I saw Nanabi was Otrube, who is a member of parliament as well. And we saw them as well come here. What can you tell us about that? Because that's what drew attention here. There's been quite the police presence here.
That is not what brought the attention was brought because of those who came in with the convoy. No attention. It was as a result of their presence here. That's why you could see Nanabi and General Secretary also coming in because there has a report to them as to what is really transpiring. And as a matter of leadership, they have to come in. And you saw them here because they have to come situations now. As you can see now, they are no more around here. They retreat a bit in order to let the place calm down. They haven't caused anything. Their cause is as a result of the attention was brought because of those who came attested to the fact that they are here because of this. One of them was as a result of their presence here. That was why
I haven't heard that, but
personally, not that they say. And from my own ears, I've heard it to them.
Thank you very much. So that's the account of the individual who's here trying to explain to us why we've seen increased police presence. There's one faction that came in, and their executives as well, being the NPP as well, came in, and tensions escalated, and we're seeing the police presence as well here reinforce and dispersing the numbers. We're seeing a lot more of the police as well, seeking to, amongst many other things, enforce peace, which is what they've been seeking to do. So that's the account of the individual, and this is trying to explain to us why Pentecost Church increased police presence. There's one faction that came in, and they are nonetheless because there's reinforced police presence, and that's allowing voting the police presence as well to continue. And that's what we're seeing. And the police has the situation under control that we can't say. We haven't seen fisticuffs or anything being thrown, but according to the account of this eyewitness who we've been speaking to, he explains what's been happening, reason why we've been seeing a lot more of the police presence. The presiding officer for the polling station will try and just have him. We'll try and just have him come through to us as quickly as possible, and then that will continue as well. Here are the new and polling stations, but let's try and get a bit more now from him. He says that he cannot speak to the camera at this point in time, but that's the situation as we have it. Polling station, we'll try and just have him. We'll try and just have him come through to us.
This year is going to be sweet. I don't just feel it, I know it, because the Luckiest Season 3 is back.
and I'm about to show you how to grab your golden ticket. Just dial *712# and follow the prompts to purchase your ticket. Or go to theluckiestafrica.com, hit community tickets, and pick your lucky number.
Or let the system do its magic. Choose how much you want to spend from 1 to 5,000 Ghana cedis. You can even buy a ticket for someone else. Be someone's hero. Payment? Easy. Mobile money in Ghana or card if you're international.
One ticket can turn 1 CD into 500 times more. That's maths we love. Or your community could win 10 times more. So let's get lucky together because luck is everywhere.
Play responsibly, not for persons under 18 years. This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Join us for the 4th Made in Ghana Bazaar by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs with its stakeholders at the Accra International Conference Center. 5th to 7th September, 9 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. daily. Themed, Champion in Economic Diplomacy, Connecting Producers, Markets and Opportunities. Exhibitors include Ghanaian businesses and embassies. The bazaar promotes Ghana's products abroad and fosters international trade. Enjoy Latif Abubakar's Ghana Must Go and other vibrant entertainers plus free entry. Sponsors Ghana Exim Bank, GNPC, Green Opal Properties, Zonda Tech Ghana, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, GRA, Free Zones Authority, Ghana Shippers Authority, Upsol Consult, We Shop Africa, and B5 Plus. Beverage partner, Twillium Industries, clothing partners, ATL and Wooden, official media partners, GBC, Multimedia, and SP Agency. The 4th Made in Ghana Bazaar at AICC, 5th to 7th September. Connect and promote Ghana's goods to the world.
Luck is everywhere for everyone. The winning season is back, but this time I am collecting the wins like jollof at a wedding. The luckiest season 3 is here. Your chance to flip your luck or maybe your bank accounts too.
2 easy ways to join. Dial *712#. Hit 1 to buy for you or 2 to gift a friend. Feeling lucky? Pick 1 for a random number or hit 2 to choose your own. Pay with mobile money. Done. You're in.
Or go to theluckiestafrica.com, click community tickets, choose your number, or let the system do so for you. You can buy a ticket for your boo or your favorite barber. Pay with Mumu or card if you're abroad.
1 ticket could turn your 1 Ghana cedi into 500 times more. And the whole community could win 10 times over.
Dial *712# or log on.
Let's get lucky together because luck is everywhere.
Play responsibly, not for persons under 18 years. This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Follow us on social media. Twitter at 3FM927. Facebook at 3FM927. And also on 3news.com.
I want us to use our constitution and our laws to be able to deal with the issue of cost of elections in this country. Because it is eating away from development, physical development in our constituencies. That is the problem. If it will cost that much just to have an election, and it will in a constituency that is highly
because of the fact that it is not
or that lacks developmental projects.
That's the kind of situation we have. But
it's quite disturbing. So. Yes, the Constitution Review Committee, one of the things I expect them to do is to use the Constitution and other laws
because it is to be able to
from development, solve the problem of
in our constituencies.
If it took how that much elections have become expensive in this country and even the security of our elections.
In the constituency,
that is able to do that, it will go a long way.
How is the Constitution Review Committee going to deal with that matter? And I'm asking that question because earlier when one of our colleagues, Yvonne Ekwe, was on, she talked about people expecting their palms to be greased. And so these Ghanaians themselves, that's it, or the people in the constituency seem to have gotten used to the candidate coming in to give them money because they feel that is the only chance to get what they need. After they voted for them, they don't see them anymore. How is the review committee going to deal with that?
Our laws, you see, most of our problems you have in this country can be solved with laws. And if you don't have strict laws that control our processes, we're going to continue to have the kind of elections we have. That's why I mentioned that it shouldn't take 5,500 police boots on the ground to have a peaceful election in a constituency. It shouldn't be the issue. You may end up having a peaceful election, but at what cost?
That's the issue we need to be asking. If you can have it at a lower cost, I think that would be good for the country, because then it means we can channel the resources to other areas in terms of providing the people with developmental projects. So, yes, the reason why I brought the Constitution Review Committee in is that, you see, if you check, at the time that we are reviewing our Constitution, a lot of issues have happened. A lot of issues that border on our Constitution, border on our laws. So probably the timing is right. Let's see how we can use our Constitution to solve some of the problems that have come up since we started reviewing our Constitution, so that we can solve most of our problems that are worrying this country.
Professor Entry, where do you stand on this? Too much monetization of our system, security-wise, and even development, which was a point you were making earlier, which we heard one of the people we spoke to also emphasize, roads and others in that constituency. Again,
I refer back to the basis that the framers of democracy that we learn from, government by the people, for the people, it's not like giving money to delegates. It's rather delegates who notice wise individuals who are committed and care for their community, and then look for them to lead them. If we don't learn democracy the right way, we'll continue to be poor, because we are just looking for money. Well, the 20 cities, 50 cities, 100 cities that they will give to you, how many days will it take?
A few hours, perhaps.
People will tell you they want something that they will eat and die. But when you eat that 50 cities, 100 cities, you will not die. The next day you'll be hungry again. But when we are all vying for the common good, which is the best roads, because Akwatia need development. They need roads. I've been to Akwatia many times. If you look at the roads in Akwatia, if you look at the water system, if you look at the electricity issues, there are many fundamental, even school system, the way their schools are. And if you talk about hospitals, they need these things. Let's look for the common good. And until we begin to do that, our democracy will suffer. I think that until we solve this fundamental social disorder called mistrust, we will continue to have elections, tensions, and then chaos. Why? Because it is a social disorder. The average Ghanaian do not trust anybody in what they do, that if I don't do A, then B will happen. We should begin to trust ourselves and trust the process. Trusting the process is very important. And then we'll talk about the law. Let the law work. And how do we make the law? We have to make fair laws so that everything will be in order. I want to respond to one of the speakers who spoke about the police presence. In fact, some people in the communities, in the villages, are afraid of police. When they see a police officer coming, it means they have done something wrong and the police is coming to catch them. So when you bring police people there, you know, and it's a mining town, that police are chasing them for illegal mining. And if I know my name is on the police list and they are hunting for me, I'm not coming to vote. Because in Ghana, when the police get you, the first question they ask you is, where is your family? So perhaps you're saying that this could be attributing to the low turnout that we had two individuals speak of earlier. I'll come back to you to finish that thought, and then we'll come to Mr. Soyini as well. But let's go to Helen, because you've got some latest for us from the grounds.
All right, Beatrice, thank you so much for that. Let's connect with my colleague, George Quainin. He's on the grounds. I see a Black Maria behind him. We'll find out if anybody has taken up residency so far. George, good morning. George, if you can unmute for us so we can hear you. Good morning. Where are you and what is happening? All right. We'll re-attempt to connect with George Quainin, but there you see in short Black Maria, and we know it's the prison on wheels. It's been making its rounds in the constituency. We'll re-attempt to connect with George Quainin, but there you see in short Black Maria, and we know it's the prison on wheels. It's been making its rounds in the constituency. When we have more from George, we will reconnect. Beatrice, over to you.
When we have more, we'll go back to George. But Professor Entry, you on the floor before we went to Helen.
Before I landed, so that my colleagues will come in. So the police presence deters other individuals from the villages. It's not often that they see a lot of police like that. And when you see massive police presence, it's really going to deter some people to come and vote. I'm also talking about this disorder that feeds into everything that we do, mistrust. We mistrust each other too much. And if that fits into our politics, as it has done, it is not going to help us in the future. Then The politicians should be thinking about the next generation, not the next elections. If we talk about monetization, the money that we spend in elections alone, if you look at the cost, individuals, I launched a book last year about grassroots democracy, and I talk about all these things, the cost of monetizing our democratic system. And it means that criminals and people with deviant behaviors will be getting into our parliament and big positions because they have money to spend. And the wise among us will not be able to do, because if you don't have money, it means you've been crippled. People will not listen to you because you don't have money. And some of these delegates should change their attitude of always, we want to be bought, we need money, we need money. Look,
because
if
when
you
they
get
vote
a right person,
you don't do anything for
exactly
the constituency.
Exactly their point, that when they vote for them, they don't hear from them. They don't pick even their cause. They will never hear from them until the next election. So when people vote for you, you are a true representative of the people, the voice, the mouthpiece of the people. Pick their phones, and that is why we need an office that is operational at the constituency. But I've talked to a couple of MPs who are telling me that when they put offices there, you go there, one said she has received 4,000 funeral invitations and wedding invitations, and each of them, if you are supposed to pay even 500 Ghana cedis, multiply that by 4,000. So what she did was to close the office.
Yeah.
Because it's all about money, money, money. They will not even invite you to come and speak to them about social order, how to be a responsible citizen. All they need from you is money.
But shouldn't that tell you of how we are distributing the national cake?
So that we are distributed the wrong way.
Yes.
Because, like I said, people I like to compare. I'm not comparing oranges and apples. I'm comparing the same democracy. And the white people are not better than us in terms of wisdom or knowledge. So when we are learning something, we are just picking best practices, adding our culture to it, and making it even better. Because some of them don't have the culture. We have chieftaincy, we have traditions that are beautiful. When we add that one to our democracy, it's going to be better than theirs. Americans don't have the chieftaincy system, And I remember when I was a Ghana Association president in Ohio, there was an issue of chieftaincy issue. And then he went to the court and he said, we don't know anything about this. They threw it away. So if you look at what is going on here, we can combine a beautiful cultural system with our laws and make a beautiful democracy for ourselves. But it has to begin with trust. In fact, without trust, all the strategies in the world will never work. If you don't trust each other, you can have all the strategic plans. It will never. So trust is very important. Then I'm also calling for our electoral laws to be strengthened in such a way that if you are not from the constituency, if you are not a voter there, if you don't have any official role to play as a regional officer or a national officer, you have no business to be there. I've seen members of parliament from another constituencies, coming there to talk about, I have put my candidature on the line. If I don't win, if we don't win, then I'm ready to lose being a member of parliament. But these are not necessary. If you do that, you put a lot of pressure on yourself because you put your position on the line, and that is not how we should build these things.
And that is not how it should go. I want to get a quick thought from you, Mr. Suhuyini, before we go to Helen. We had Professor Entry say, okay, so I'll come back to you after Helen. Helen, what do you have for us?
All right, so we go straight back to the Akwatia constituency. Godwin Asedeba is on the move. Let's find out exactly what's happening where he is. Godwin, good morning.
Good morning, Helen. It's generally been
All right, Godwin, we seem to have lost you very briefly. Where exactly are you? What is happening? All right, a few challenges there with the sound. Godwin, we can hear you.
You were generally monitoring the process of the
just see quite a number of people, others who have casted and still are waiting till the final time where they will get to monitor the counting and all of that. But just before we get to them and speak to them to get to know how they feel about the process today, Mustafa Bande has been going from stations to stations, monitoring all the action that is happening on ground. And you're live on TV3. What have you monitored generally, and have you been satisfied with the process so far?
Well, I think so far there's been absolute cooperation between all parties. The atmosphere remained very calm. As you can see, the police are observing professionalism. And for me, that's the most important thing, because we are determined to finish this election with a clean scorecard, violence-free, incidents-free. And this area was expected to have been the most volatile area, Wenchi, for that matter. But since morning,
we have not recorded a single situation. I think I'm happy about it. About turnout and other issues, turnout have two effects. It has its positive and negative, so we are just observing the situation, encouraging our people to vote. At 5 o'clock, we'll see what those effects will be. I'm confident that our candidate will win. I'm also confident that we have a superior quality candidate who is fit for purpose. The MPP is aware that they came to observe funeral, but we came for an election. They know that because we've been here in the last 3 years. They came here on Friday. And so clearly, given the surrounding circumstances, yourself, you are convinced that NDC will win this election?
I am not convinced. Apparently, I've been hearing a lot of people here, especially the constituents, having the lips of the NPP's candidates on their lips. How would you react to that as well? Because you seem to be so much confident that the NDC is going to take the seat.
Well, whatever they tell you is different from what they do in the booth. And so, in the end...
But how are you able to verify that because you're not there with them?
You only take an experienced politician to know when you are winning. And I know that with God, we are going to win this election. It is not about politics for politics' sake.
Right.
It's a critical influencing factor, and that factor is development and growth. We all know that the MPP has been deficient and brought up a setback in terms of development to the people of Akwatia constituency.
Right.
Our concern is that we'll be able to partner properly to mitigate that shortfall of development in terms of drawing government closer to the people. And in doing so, you need a representative that is closer to government to be able to influence these matters. And so that is why we are here, confident that at the end of the day, the people need development. You can see, when we came here, some of the areas to even ply, you could not use your vehicle on.
Right.
It's a national security matter which must be resolved. Clearly, you can see the commitment of government to ensure that at least the movement in and out of this area does not cause any accident. So they are sealing all the potholes. That clearly shows that government is committed, will be committed to changing the lives of the people.
When it comes to getting access to basic social amenities, most of the constituents have been complaining about not having access to toilet facilities. Sometimes even water becomes a challenge. And now we've seen the excavators clearing the road. Is this a way to score some political points? Because all of this was in a very deplorable state for a very long time. But now the constituents are here to cast their vote, and then we are seeing an excavator clearing the roads. Is this a way to convince the constituents that you are able to do the job for them to vote for you?
For election, this by-election, most of us who don't have been here. You only got here to see how the MPP deceived the people. This is the MPP's stronghold. Why should we be the one doing their road at this time, after they have been in power for 8 years?
The NDC is in power now.
We are in power now. That's why we are doing it.
Okay.
We have come here to see the problem, and we are solving it. We wouldn't wait for elections to be over. If we were in power for 8 years and this is happening, then you can hold us responsible. We just came to power. They have been in power for 8 years. Why should we be doing this?
So then again, is it for you to gain some political points from the
for us to fix the problem.
Okay.
It's for us to identify and fix it. We are fixing the mess caused by the MPP. We are fixing the incompetence caused by the MPP. We are fixing the deliberate fleecing of national purse that they have created. We are fixing that problem. That is why you see a machine working today, because if the MPP got votes here, let's assume that all the others don't matter. That vote should influence development in the area. Why should we be the ones doing their road at this time? We only got here to see that the number of vehicles plying the road through and out, if you don't do this thing, it may cause an accident. So therefore, government is fixing that problem so that by the time we finish election, we don't come back to discuss accidents and other things again.
But aside this that is currently happening, what would you boldly say the NDC has been able to do for the people of Akwatia?
Even yesterday, we commissioned the DVLA office, right? That's a decentralized government. It's going to employ over 200 people. It's going to make people who need licensing and registering of their vehicles go into Accra. It's going to shorten that distance and save their cost. All right? Why didn't the MPP and President Akufo-Addo do this in the last 8 years? That is his backyard. President Akufo-Addo have benefited from these people and gave them nothing. The youth are unemployed. Now, we told them that even mining, when you present a miner, it's not a guarantee that he can help you. Because government controls mining. It is government that can help the people to have access to small-scale mining. Okay. When it comes to cocoa, President Akufo-Addo have collapsed it. It is the government that can enable development to the people and make sure that you have access to the Feed Ghana program, which embodies all sectors to ensure that food security is guaranteed in this area. President Akufo-Addo couldn't do it. Baumia was here, could not tout a single developmental activity, could not show a single toilet build, could not show nothing as a foundation for the people to vote.
Right.
But we are here and saying that we've done it before, we are doing it, we'll partner with you to do it. Ernest Kumi is a human being, he's a sweet character. Ernest Kumi is not a property of the MPP.
Right.
It is not a chieftaincy affair, so that when one dies, you use one as a representation. Ernest Kumi was a product of a vote, and that same vote will put a competent candidate. They are hiding their candidate because he cannot talk. All he says is that, number 2. These kind of traits doesn't go to parliament. Classic incompetence. Classic substandard candidate.
Are you mocking him?
Substandard is substandard. If you are substandard, there is no amount of description that fits you. But they know that lawyer Bediako is a lawyer. He's been defending the constituents. Anybody that got a problem, this guy was there to help them. That is his track record. Ernest was a sweet character, very humble, and that's the same trait lawyer Bediako has. So I know that the MPP is convinced that they will lose this election, because after they have imposed a candidate, they only got to realize that the candidate is substandard. But that is not our case. They tied other people who would have been interested in contesting, they tied their hands at their back. Amase is one of them. Their own constituency chairman was a victim. So how will you impose a candidate on a constituency as if it's chieftaincy affair, only to realize that the candidate is substandard?
So lastly, before you go, if it doesn't go to the NDC's Bernard Bediako, how would you feel about all of that? Because you seem so confident.
By all means, it will go. We are not here to do MPP's bid. We are here to do NDC's bid.
Absolutely.
We are in power. We are here to ensure that the NDC win the seat, and we will win the seat.
All right. Thank you so much. We have been speaking to Mustafa Gbande together with some of his cohorts who are here at the Osia Wo Deba Ground polling center. They've been moving from polling centers to polling centers, witnessing exactly what has been happening here. Just like I have rightly indicated, we have quite a number of individuals who are here as well. But we'll continue to engage more people as well to get to know how they're monitoring the exercise and how it is going so far, if they are comfortable about that as well. You're live on TV3. What's your general assessment so far?
Not bad, not too good. Not bad in the sense that proud to this day, there were a lot of issues with regards to tension, Akwatia, the MPP making noise, we will not, and all these kind of things.
Right.
So far, half of the hours of active voting is gone. We have just some 3 hours or so to close of polls.
Right.
And it's relatively calm in this area, so it's good. I mean, the security is enough to keep the process running. It's not good on the other side in regards to the voter turnout. So far, we can be confident to want to sum it up to 50% turnout,
right?
Which means that the people are not coming out, the people are not enthused enough to want to come and vote. Right. For instance, this current polling station that we find ourselves in, the background polling station has a registered number of 700 plus. And it is some 12 o'clock, and a little over 200 have cast their vote.
You've also mentioned that there have been a mixed bag of reactions, making mention of the fact that there have been some challenges. What would you say is the main challenge that you saw? I mean, that you think would go in a long way to maybe not make the process go smoothly as it should be?
Well, it's smooth in the sense of people coming out to vote.
Absolutely. Okay.
The process itself has been smooth and been transparent. I mean, everything going on well.
Right.
But the people are not coming out, and it means that there could be a number of factors as a result of this. Number one,
if you can see that work is ongoing on the road just leading to the Deba grounds, and this is one of the places where events of this enclave is done, and this has been one MPP's typical area. And so if roads are being constructed now, it means that it's been neglected for some time around, and people may not want to do that. Again, they don't have faith in the MPP candidate, they may not want to.
Right. Just a brief one before you go. I spoke to Mustafa Gbande before coming to you, and I asked them if they had the excavators to clear the road because they wanted to gain some political points to convince the constituents for voting for the NDC. I mean, you are with the NDC. Do you think boldly the NDC had taken up the action to, cover up the holes on the road just to be able to convince the people to vote for them?
So this was where we had the 1 week celebration of the late MP. Right. So we all used this road to the grounds. Right. Nanado used it, and we saw how bad it was. Okay. And so if there is the need to fix it, it won't be because we want to vote from them, but it is because we will definitely be coming here once again just after the election to have the final funeral rites. At that moment, we will be coming with the MP of the area. So if we have what it takes to fill them, we will do it.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. I have been speaking to Joseph Yamin of the National Democratic Congress, and I've also been coming to you live from the Osiawo Deba ground here in where all the things are happening here in Akwatia. Generally, like I have mentioned, it's been a very calm mood. The people here who have casted their ballots are still awaiting to get to the counting point where they will get to know how the end results will be. You've already heard from the NDC who are saying that they are confident that they're going to win this particular seat. But subsequently, we'll get to speak to the opposition New Patriotic Party as well to get to know how they are going to be reacting to these claims from the NDC's Mustafa Gbande and Yamin as well. My name is Godwin Asidba, and I'll definitely see you soon. Over to you back in the studios, Helen and Beatrice.
All right, Godwin Asidba there in the constituency reporting to us from the grounds. Let's also now speak with George Quainin, and he is in Achimwenchi. He's got more for us. George, good afternoon.
3FM 92.7.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. Like you rightly mentioned, I'm coming to you live from the New Wenchi police station. And here there are two police stations, A and B. And so valid voters for A is 445 and B is 444. At 11:59, 130 had voted at A and 135 had voted at B. And so far it's been relatively peaceful. So voting started on time here at 7 a.m. And one impressive thing to note is the fact that you constantly see the IGP driving through the principal street with his entourage, just gives some sort of impression to this constituents that they are, heavily protected. They can go about their normal activities before the close of the exercise, which is 5 p.m. But I've seen some, party delegations here. I just want to pick some few words from them, what they make of this very exercise when it started at 7 a.m. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on TV3. And so far, I'm sure you've visited some police stations. So what is your initial impression of this?
So far, the process has been smooth. Yes. We've gone to several police stations. And updates we are getting from our agents that the process is very smooth. And we are very hopeful that at the end of the day, Mediapun emerge as a winner for Akwatia constituency.
Mediapun, you're on the side of the NDC. Yes. What do you make of the security situation here? I've personally seen the IGP driving through the principal.
So far, it's been fantastic. It never happened in the history of this country. In fact, the police have actually conducted, the security, activities very well. You see at every stage or every checkpoint, you see the police being, you have to be searched and all that. Then we are all complying. So what we also encourage everyone is that everybody should comply with the police directive so that at the end of the day, we continue to experience the peaceful election we are observing so far. So far, so good.
Okay, so far, so good. So I spoke to some first-time voters from the Salvation Army Senior High School, and what they told me was the fact that they went into this very by-election with, some sort of development on their mind. And on the side of development in their schools, the deceased MP did something for the school. So they want longevity, they want sustainability. So they're going to vote for the MPP candidates. I don't know what you make of that.
No, we have gone around the entire constituency and campaigned to the people, and we have told them that the NDC is in government, and we already have the two-thirds majority in parliament. But we don't want Akwatia. We want to have Akwatia's voice to be added to that. So we need a member of parliament who will be part of that majority, who will speak for Akwatia constituency. And of course, they listen to us, and they are sure they are going to vote for our candidate.
So with this very by-election, after 11:59, there are 445 at A, 444 at B. As at 11:59, 135 had voted for both sides. It means that people are actually going to vote in the numbers.
Yes, they are coming. And I'm told, these areas are predominantly a farming community, and some are already in their various farms. Yeah. Around 2-3, you see a lot of people coming to vote. So the turnout is going to be massive. Okay. But what I can assure the general public is that NDC is winning this very
Okay, I'm sure you're very confident about that. So the NDC is really confident that they can win this very seat for the party to make sure, their position in parliament is, so high. So I just want to paint a picture for you of the Black Maria. And so this is a mobile prison. And so anyone that wants to foment trouble would have, the next few of his hours in this very facility, and so maybe he's taken to the bigger cell. So this is how the Black Maria looks like. It's comfortably seated on the grass, awaiting anyone who wants to foment trouble. And so this is what the IGP said. They are going to be very ruthless on people who want to cause mayhem in this very by-election. Like I rightly mentioned, I've seen him constantly, flying the streets just to give confidence to, the constituents that, they are heavily protected. And some first-time voters I also spoke to were really confident that development that have been started will be continued. So some of them are writing their WASI. As you know, WASI is ongoing. Those who don't have paper today have actually come out to vote. But those that are writing, I hope they'll be done by 1 a.m. So before 5 p.m., they will be casting their vote. And so they'll be coming out with their numbers to do that. So this is what the situation looks like as it stands now. 11:59, 135 out of 445 had cast their votes. That's for the A. And then for the B, 136 had cast their vote as at 11:59 out of 444 valid voters. And so through our 50,000 voters are expected to cast their ballot over 120 police stations in the Akwatia constituency. And I'm still seeing more party delegates coming here. And I would want to know how impressive this very exercise has been so far. And I think it's still in the camp of the NDC. Let's still engage some of them and get their thoughts on what the initial impression is on the exercise. We want to do. Sorry for this. But I say our names. You are live on TV3. I want to know where exactly you're coming from and what do you make of your impression of the exercise so far?
And so far, the process has been so good. I'm coming from town. I went to Penamang, and I'm coming to Winchi. So far, so good. So far, there's relatively calm, and I see heavy security presence. I must comment. Ghana police. Every police station I went, I didn't see anything less than 4 police pickups and over 50 men within the town. So I don't foresee any violence at the polling station.
Let's talk about turnout. Are you impressed? Turnout.
Until it's past 5. You
can pick intel that if your numbers.
Very normal for we to have very low turnout in every by-election. But most importantly, we are very optimistic. Even if it's just 2 people that will appear, we will still win the election.
Okay, so we'll try our best to engage the MPP to just rebut some of these concerns that the NDC has put across. But if you just tune in, we're coming to you live from the New Wenchi Police Station, A and B, 2 stations here, and they bring you live reports from this very polling station. And we are Election Command Center. We'll make sure we give you every detail of this very by-election. My name is Josh Penny. You can also get interactive with us. We're live on Facebook. It's TV3 Ghana. Let's know what you make of this very by-election and many more. Thanks for watching. Back to you in the studios.
Certainly, George, thank you so much for that. My colleague George Quinn in there speaking to us from the polling center at New Wenchi. But of course, Martin is here, Martin Asedu-Date, joining the team for this coverage. Martin.
It's been a very busy day, and clearly it looks like the country is watching Akwatia very closely through the eyes of TV3. So our reporters have been doing a yeoman's job so far.
That's right.
And it's also commendable that the constituents themselves have also, gone about today's activities quite well. Nothing too serious has been reported. the Ablekuma North by-election rerun, around this time, some scuffles had even stopped voting at some places. So it's past midday, and I think from morning up until now, we can say that activities have been fairly well. So we are just keeping our fingers crossed that between now and 5 o'clock, when polls close and counting and sorting starts, things would remain as it has been for now. And would want.
Hello, Ghana. It's a new year, and Bills Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596 920 833 or 0302 200 390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
Accra, Ghana, Africa, and worldwide. Join us on Inspirational Gospel Mix this and every Sunday, 8 p.m. 3FM.
King of kings and Lord of lords, lover of my soul, Jehovah, one and only God. I am Jesus Christ, the Holy Lamb.
What is your favorite scripture? Well, my favorite scripture is Romans 8:28.
If you're having to deal with multiple constituencies in a bigger election other than a by-election. But I want to come to you, Mr. Suhene. One of the things we heard earlier from both MPP and NDC was that the representatives that we spoke to, that the voter turnout had been very low. We heard Professor Entry earlier before we went on the grounds telling us it feels people are intimidated, not using your word, by how many officers are on the ground. But we heard Mr. Joseph Yamin, who is the national organizer.
And this is still our extensive coverage of the by-elections in Akwatia, occasioned by the sudden demise of Ernest Kumi. We understand now as passed his by-exam, but posthumously, the General Legal Council grant him that call. We know that the IGP has deployed more than 5,000 people, personnel to ensure peace and security in the 119 polling stations in the Akwatia is currently underway. The polls will close at 5 p.m. In the meantime, there have been some pockets of incidents earlier, you know. Chairman Buga and Chairman Azoka at each other. Took the intervention of the Ghana Police Service to separate the two and their gangs. We also do know that the Black Maria, in fact 4 of them or so, crisscrossing the constituency, looking for miscreants to cage, as they call it, prisons on wheels. But so far we've brought you all the information, the sights and sounds from the constituency in the eastern region, Akwatia constituency that is. Since 1992, the Akwatia constituency has proven to be a swing constituency. 5 times they have voted in favor of the NPP, 4 times they have voted in favor of the NDC. This will be a decider whether to equal it or not, as this election will also go ahead to prove certain bragging right for both the NDC and the MPP in the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, the 9th Parliament that is. Although this seat, if won by the NPP, would really not change anything in terms of the political fortune and the numbers that they have in Parliament. However, if the NDC does win it, perhaps gives them a leeway into the 2028 elections. If the NPP retains the seat, it would solidify their hold on Akwatia, perhaps to win again in 2028. The top brass of both political parties, the creme de la creme that is, have been in the constituency. We know national executives have been there. We know that leaders from the side of parliament on both sides have been there. All the action, all the eyes, all the attention is on the Akwatia constituency, and your election command center got you covered. My name is Johnny Hughes. Go down now to TV3. Lawyer Hamza Suhini, Officer Imchi, and Ebo, interacting with Beatrice Edu. 5,000 men on the ground. Let's cross over now.
Really see that through. Then clearly you do not understand the responsibilities that we have placed on you. When it comes to your role as a national officer of a political party recognized under the laws of this country. And for me, that is my concern. And it is difficult to disagree with the concerns being raised, especially when it comes to your role as a national officer of a political party recognized under the laws of this country. And for me, that is my concern. And it is difficult to disagree with the concerns being raised, especially when it comes to the number of security men we have on the grounds. It's quite unfair to the police. And that is why in my introductory remarks, I indicated that prior to this day, the Ghana Police Service had indicated their willingness to engage with major stakeholders, and they did. They spoke to the National Democratic Congress, they spoke to the New Patriotic Party, they engaged election observers, they engaged the Electoral Commission to be able to have a better understanding of the plan of action that the EC itself intended to roll out on the day. And so it has been work in action. So collectively, you can say that they have been quite inspiring in terms of the kind of leadership that they have provided as far as this particular by-election is concerned. But yes, when it comes to the numbers on the ground, that is one aspect that we can begin to interrogate and ask whether indeed they needed such numbers on the ground. I also believe that we do not need such numbers on the ground, and that the time has come for us to begin to put the pressure on the political parties, not the Ghana Police Service. Because the servicemen are not those who foment the trouble. They are there to keep the peace. And so if we are responsible political parties, it must begin to show in the way we conduct these elections. And these are some of the things I want us to concentrate on.
So you're concerned...
We have so far discharged ourselves in a way that is creditable. That is why around this table it is difficult for you to single out an NDC official and say that he indeed was engaged in fomenting trouble or heating the temperature. Because we know the temperament of the leader we have. And on every blessed day, we are charged with the responsibility of manifesting same in our public discourse, and especially when it comes to our political organizations. But unfortunately, I hate to break this, but we are dealing on the other side with a political party that clearly, now as we speak, is the greatest danger to democratic stability in this country. And that is the New Patriotic Party.
You don't see any...
Because of their utterances and conduct. Because they think that the only way to become relevant once again in our national discourse is through activism that is rooted in violence and violent rhetoric. And that is what we all must be condemning.
Having made that point, you don't see anything wrong either with, for instance, what Mustafa Gbande said, that you don't think that maybe what he said could have instigated the other side of the political divide, the MPP, telling them that, well, they came for funeral, the NDC came for elections, and also the fact that MPP and Baumia did nothing, all of those things. You don't think that what Mustafa Gbande said could have instigated the followers of the MPP?
Absolutely not. And you see, these things are meant to lighten the temperature. And you would see that when Mustafa Gbande made those comments, it was not intended to slight the New Patriotic Party in a...
It was even smart.
Yes, because these are on a light... These statements of this are expected. But you see, one thing you fail to flag... But you see, one thing you fail to flag, again, that is another potential source of conflict, is how known political operatives and certain leading members of the political parties move around these constituencies. Your reporter indicated to us that the likes of Afenyo Makin and Co were moving in a convoy to a particular polling station. That attracted attention, and that got the attention of the Ghana Police Service. So these acts, we must begin to interrogate them as a republic. we must begin to ask these questions, whether indeed it is even necessary for us to be moving from one polling station to the other as major political actors in our democracy, when indeed we have election observers and we have polling agents on the ground who can at every time report to us events happening there, and we can rely on the security institutions to go and act in a way that will bring sanity to these places. But our movement also creates that chaos and sends the wrong signals. We must begin to have a look at some of these things. So, and I can assure you that from where I see it, once again, the NDC will lead the charge. And we will do everything within our power, because we made that promise. Our task is not to give them a semblance of what they gave us in Ayahuasca West Wagon when His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was president. We are conducting ourselves in this election to demonstrate to them that indeed we have a president who is not only a listening president, but a president who made a commitment to the good people of this country to reset it. And resetting is not just the economy, but even the way we conduct our politics in a way that is acceptable. And we would lead that charge.
Mr. Suina, I get the point from what you're saying, that moving forward, even as we also prepare for Tamale, on the 30th of this same month of September, one of the things stakeholders must consider is the movement of people, and even which individuals are expected to move at which points.
Yes, I think that the focus should be on the leaders of the political parties. If you have no responsibility to discharge, try as much as possible to avoid it. And if there's a way we can avoid also moving in groups that attracts attention, needless attention, let us try to do away with many of these things. But you see, when it comes to other citizens who find their ways there, you should understand, when it comes to by-elections of this nature, that is an opportunity for many of our foot soldiers to get hold of party officials ordinarily they wouldn't have had access to. So when you see many of them traveling to that vicinity, it is not because they want to go and participate or cause mayhem in that particular constituency. It is simply because it is an avenue for them to get hold of many of their party officers and get in touch with them to be able to have their problems resolved. Not everybody can travel to Accra to get their general secretary or national organizer or stuff like that. So we need to begin to appreciate it from that perspective. So you may interview a number of people who obviously are not from the constituency, but they are there not to foment trouble, but simply to have access to their party.
Like the man who told us that he wants to ensure that we are having...
And he spoke well, because the record and see Beatrice, this is very, very important. You see, and Ebo made reference to it, and I think that Prof also referenced it in his submission. And that has to do with the kind of legacy we leave, especially when we are given the mandate by the people to lead. It is disheartening that for 8 good years, and then Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as president of the Republic of Ghana, hailing from the eastern region, as a political party, the NPP is unable to point the good people of Akwatia to any infrastructure development they brought to their life in that 8-year period. But I am not surprised. NDC could have taken the posture that indeed the last election you didn't vote for us, or elections before you didn't vote for us, like President Kufuor did, and Nana Addo did, in the case of Akumfi in the central region, where he was blunt, that he decided to not to mind the people because they failed to vote for him in the his candidate in the 2020 election. This is a different trajectory we are pursuing as a government. This is a government that will develop and make a commitment to developing every constituency, regardless of the number of votes we get from it. And when I say this, the evidence is there to back it. Because you go to Ashanti region, we knew as a matter of fact, under the same president, that when it comes to Ashanti region, we struggle to win votes. But one of our biggest infrastructure investments under the first tenure of His Excellency President Mahama was in the Ashanti region.
And in the last general election, you saw that the numbers go up for you in the Ashanti region. That example
must not be lost on all of us. And the NPP as a political party must begin to take an inspiration and learn, and be humble enough to learn from the politics of the NDC, and most importantly, the demeanor of our leader.
I want to come to you, Professor Smart Sapon. A lot has been said, both here and from the grounds. What are you thinking?
Well, so development, what I know is that Ghana is quite big, not too big comparatively, but 276 constituencies. And I'm not sure all of them may have the equal level of development. It may vary. Some may have more, some may have less. But, I mean, we must be able to, at the end of a tenure, assess how well we included all, not on the same scale. Some may have more than others. But if it happens that some are deprived of development to a certain extent, then it will be a cause for concern. I don't know whether my brother Suhini is speaking to data. I don't know what the level of development has been in Akwatia. But if it is to be that they were actually deprived of development entirely for the 8 years, that would be quite unfortunate. And it should be a lesson to President Mahama also. I'm not sure he would be able to equally develop all constituencies, 276, equally within the first 4 years.
No, he even has less than 4 years.
You see. So, but he should try as much as he can to make sure at least, if not of equal measure, development reaches every constituency. I know in the first budget, 166 constituencies were earmarked. I want to believe that in the next subsequent budgets, the remaining would also be captured so that development at least would reach at least every corner of it. So that is that of development. And then the monetization. Unfortunately, the stakeholders, the political parties themselves, my brother Suhini and his brothers, those who spoke on Nanabi and co, they won't go to grounds like that without money. They simply won't do that. And once you go there with money, and you know when they go with money, they don't come back with it. So I don't know whether they attract the people to them with money or the people see them as currencies, money machines. I don't know where.
Well, at least somebody said it.
You see, but the truth also is that when you see many of them, it's not always about money.
Of course,
it's about job opportunities. It's about placement and stuff like that. Yes, and that's why many of them will travel to that place. It's just part of our Ghanaian culture.
Absolutely.
That when someone comes and talks to you after he's done, because he probably traveled a long distance out of courtesy, take this for TNT. It happens. We all do it.
And
we all do it. It does not mean that when they come to us,
Mr. Sweeney, I just want you to let...
it's fine. They will call it TNT, but my point is that...
You do it.
Oh, definitely, I do it, but I don't have the level of demand that you have. And I'm not ever good. You see, so they find a nice name for it, and they won't tell us. But they can, if we get to know, you would be shocked the amount of money they would have spent. The two political parties. I'm not even talking about the standard expenses EC is going to incur or the police in managing the team will be incurring on the state. I'm talking about the two, the NDC and the MPP, how much they will be spending. In fact, they've made the people to believe that at opportunities, in situations like this, it is time to cash in. And they actually don't go there without money. They fulfill the expectations of the people. And so they have to lead in the crusade we are all talking about.
No, but we don't subscribe to vote buying as a political party.
You subscribe to
NDC? No.
I don't think there's any...
They have a different name. You call it TNT.
I want you to let Professor Smasapon land, but again, I don't think there's any political party which will admit that they are indulged in vote buying.
But you and I know that in Akwatia, I mean, things would happen. They tell you we are doing house to house. We are meeting them group by group. Every group meeting will lead to one offering or the other. So they must really accept that responsibility and lead. It is when the two of them lead that we can get to a certain level of managing the situation. And then the last one will be the size of the police. We all agree on this platform that is too huge. But how did we get here? How did we get here? I mean, if we are going to, again, the NPP and the NDC are the highest corporates, the major corporates. If we are going to agree that the blue boys and green girls, or green boys and blue boys, whoever they call them, trained purposely to come and protect the ballot. That's how they call it, protect the ballot. When we know very well that the police is available to assist us in doing that assignment, you say you are coming with some blue boys or blue, green boys to come and do the same thing police is going to. When you lead that course, definitely you would disrupt the police in doing their work. Definitely police will have a course to bring in reinforcement because they do not know to what extent your blue and green boys are going to disrupt or overpower the men. So even with this 5,000, I beg to think that they may have some extra numbers somewhere to invite in as backup in the event that these blue and green boys and girls overpower the men at the station. But I mean, for it to be on record that a polling station, so if you send 5,500 and you have 119 polling stations, what it means is that you are doing about 40 to 46 policemen per polling station. 46 policemen per polling station is quite too much. Even Sudan or somewhere in the war-torn countries won't have this situation. But who is the cause? We brought it on ourselves. Until political parties again, and these things they are doing, it is because of today. The NPP is saying all the things, accusing the NDC because they are in opposition. You remember when the NDC was also in opposition, they were saying the same thing. Police can't protect us, so we have to protect ourselves and all these things. And it keeps degenerating. It's not getting down.
I think that's the point you made earlier, that when they are in opposition, they seem to not trust the system.
And we are used to this narration. When I heard Nanabi say it, we are used to. Earlier, the national organizer, Yamin, also said similar things in Asin North and those other by-election areas. So, again, in the size of the police, I'm not sure is happy deploying over 5,000 to just a single constituency. They are not happy about it. But take lessons from just 16 polling stations in Ablekuma North and what happened. If you are a police commander or the leader, the IGP, you would do 5,000 or even more because you wouldn't want it to be on record that trained police professionals were overpowered by some blue or green birds. No. So until they stop that, we may have to import some extra policemen from our neighboring countries or perhaps invite ECOWAS. No, because when we extend the situation to 276 constituencies, if one is taking 5,000, the entire police force can't take care of a region if we are going to do 5,000 per. It means we may have to invite at all. Yeah. So we will get to the point where, Beatrice, if you're not careful, ECOWAS will have to come in. Maybe African Union will have to come in. My worry is that it keeps degenerating. It's not kind of going down. If we didn't learn any lesson from Ayawaso, and we are talking about Ablekuma North, and we are afraid of Akwatia, and therefore think we need to invite 5,000 policemen. Thank God if we have a very smooth day. What it means is that 5,000 per constituency can help us. And then we will multiply it by 276 constituencies, and that's where we may need ECOWAS or AU to come and assist us in securing a simple process of going before the ballot to elect.
Mr. Bobakman, I've heard people say that it's not difficult to start anew, as it were. Professor Smasapon is painting a very dark picture for us, for our future, saying that things will just get worse. To an extent, we'll have to bring in the AU. From where you sit, how do we ensure that we nip this process or this future that, Professor Sapon is seeing in the bud? How do we ensure we do that now?
I think we need to have a real look at our electoral systems. You see, we keep repeating our mistakes, and in our attempt to solve them, or find solutions to the mistakes, we are now committing more resources into solving the problems. And for me, if the political parties have a major role to play, police don't go to an election or don't go for an election to cause confusion. It's the political parties and there are people who normally do that. And so if you're going to have a situation where the political parties would be so much concerned about the security of the country and even the development of the country, I think they wouldn't cause the nation to be deploying the kind of people we have on the ground. I mean, in terms of the police boots we have. Because, as I said, these things, they eat away from the development. It's opportunity cost. There's always opportunity costs. And so if the cost of maintaining just peace, to have a peaceful election is that much, and it means we are losing in other sectors of the economy. So it is important that the political parties play that key role in ensuring that their members comport themselves. The police can play their role. It's only when these actors misbehave that the police will come in. Can you imagine if you have an election where political parties and their people are conducting themselves well in a police station? The policeman will just be standing. You don't need even 5 police people to man a polling station. But when it becomes a norm that at any election, these political parties, because of power, because of, sometimes to the extent that they're even prepared to care for power, if we don't stop that, if you don't find a way to stop the political parties and you allow them to continue to do that, you're going to continue to have the situation we are having. So yes, the police will have their role to play, but as said, the major responsibility will be on the political parties to ensure that they conduct themselves properly whenever we are going to have an election. Prof said something, I was seeing a Prof said prior to the election, the kind of utterances some of the leaders made. I mean, to give that impression out there that this election we are going to have some men from
Mr. Suhini said.
Yes, Ochirbefi, for example, he is a member of parliament. I'm waiting for that video. I was on a show, and he called it was called to make contribution on the show, and he said something that they have intelligence that the MDC is organizing 3,000 people, and out of the 3,000, 1,000 will be given police uniforms to wear. And he claimed they have videos. I don't know, they couldn't provide any video. Some of these comments from our leaders will certainly foment, a certain kind of, agitations in the constituency. Because if you're going to bring 1,000 people in police uniform, then we also have to prepare. And that is some of the things I think our politicians must desist from doing. All trances before election, during election, even after election, the kind of things they say, I don't think we'll need the kind of numbers we have to be able to have a peaceful election. It doesn't augur well. It doesn't give a good picture. As Prof said, if we allow this to go on, what it means is that in the next election, we will need to spend more on security just to maintain peace in our democracy, which for me is quite expensive. We don't have to make democracy expensive for ourselves.
Quite expensive. And you were just emphasizing that point made earlier by Mr. Hamza Suhini, that the onus lies on political parties.
Yes,
yes, Mr. Suhini has had to take leave of us. He's a lawyer and a member of the NDC's communications team. And of course, this is still your election command center here with my panel. And I'm coming to you, Martin Asiedu-Date, because you've got some news as well from the ground for us. What do you have?
Certainly, yes, and we are going back to Akwatia to Christian Yali, who is currently at the Takrasi electoral area specifically. Christian, thank you for joining. What exactly is happening where you are?
And so we are still here within the area of Takrasi, where there are some number of polling stations, about 10 of them actually, if I should say. Where I am currently is the Deba grounds. When you come to the Takrasi township within the Akwatia constituency, I can confirm that the total number of valid voters who are expected at this polling station are about 581. And as of the time we brought you this report, we've had about some 215 and over who have come to cast their ballots in support of this democratic exercise, which is ongoing. But the interesting bit is that when you get here, there are a number of chairs to aid the voters who come around to vote. So you get to sit comfortably. When it gets to your turn, you get up, you go through the queue, go through the process, and you cast your ballot, just like the lady who has just finished hers and is making way for the next person to come. And so it has been a very calm environment. Actually, when you check the atmosphere or the weather condition has also been very favorable, very calm as it is. But I have with me Stephen Atubiga, who is the leader and founder of the National Liberation Congress. He was once a presidential aspirant of the NDC. And when you understand politics and you followed what history has been so far, NLC is just like a breakaway, if I should say, from the NDC. Yes. So they regard the NDC as their mother party. What has been your observation so far upon touring the various polling stations?
Thank you so much. We've been in the, what's the name? Takoradi area since in the morning as an observer for Mother Party, NDC. And then we think that the people of Takoradi have shown that they are Ghanaians. They're coming out. There's calm in all the polling stations as we keep going. I think the people have realized that, look, going out to vote is the most important thing. Choosing the right people to represent them. And there's unity. I don't see anywhere that there's NDC, MPP. They have shown that they are holding each other together very tight anywhere that I go. If not the polling agents or the polling that I'm able to see that this person represent that or not. There's nothing like partisan, and it's very peaceful. Everybody's happy, holding each other. And it's one of the polling stations I've seen that they've been, innovative, that I'm calling on all the polling stations to do same, providing chairs for them to sit, because there are certain places that I had to hold some of the old ladies, help them come across to come and vote and whatever. It's very peaceful. It's very peaceful. Very peaceful,
which is very commendable. And the debate about the fact that you don't see party colors, you don't see who belongs to which side, which is very impressive. And going into 5 p.m. when polls would come to a close and then tensions might begin to flare, what would be your, advice or admonishment to all who watch and listen that see? It is all for the main cause of development for this area, a representative for this area, so that we continue to keep what has been the trend so far as of now, just some few minutes past midday. Yes, on my way leaving Akwatia itself, I ran into there's one polling station, we ran into Kodia, the National General Secretary of the MPP. We exchanged pleasantries and it was very beautiful. But it's after we left that we kept hearing that there are other incidents on the radio station, allegations going on. And I think that it's not good for what is, with the tension, quote unquote, that is in the town. I think that that shouldn't be happening if it's really true what is happening there. And I think that by 5 p.m., the people of the whole Akwatia constituency would have spoken. And just as you said, we're trying not to be more partisan here, but we've seen that everybody has an interest in making sure that they choose the right member of parliament to represent them. Everybody, the communication director for Asawasi, former communication director for Asawa Tornado, will testify that since everywhere that we went, everybody behaved like a Ghanaian. We are yet to witness anything. Right. But what I have seen, that I think the polling stations, I'm calling on the National Democratic Congress leadership or those who have been assigned within the area that I haven't seen water. I want to see, I would have loved to see at least 10 bags of sachet water on the site, or whichever way, whether it's the Peace Council, whether it is government, whether it is the MC, whether it's the DC, whether it...
Right, so that's an interaction between Christian Yali and Mr. Atubiga, who has also been monitoring developments in the Takoradi area. Let's speak to Judith Brown now. She's also in and around the Takoradi enclave to try and find out what exactly she has found out where she is. Judith, what can you report where you are?
Currently here at the new Wenchi Presby polling station, where I have with me the Minister for Youth and Employment, Empowerment, George Opariado. He's also the National Youth Organizer for the National Democratic Congress, which is the ruling party. Good afternoon. What has been your observation so far?
First, let me commend the police and the Electoral Commission. This is about the 30th or so police station I'm visiting, and the kind of deployment that has been done today is unprecedented. They've done so well. It's been relatively peaceful across all police stations, and that is the way we want. That is what we want to see. So far, so very good.
Right, so we seem to be having a challenge with the audio, the audibility of that interview, but that is Judith Brown in that interaction with George Opariado. Many within the NDC call him Pablo, and he has a few minutes ago just given indications that he's been to about 30 different polling stations, and so far what he has observed gives him enough information to commend the Electoral Commission for how they've conducted the election so far. And it also tells you how important, George is also the national youth organizer of the party, and he is in the constituency. And there's been a litany of the NDC's senior echelons who are all in the constituency, primarily for one reason, trying to mobilize the support base of the party and floating voters to try and come out in their numbers to vote. So let's join back the feed again.
Advocates. So they are looking for an advocate, one who can speak for them and bring them development. And it's obvious the NDC's candidate is going to win this elections landslide. But I'm going to wait patiently till 5 o'clock, and then when the votes are coming in, we'll see.
Speaking of development, we've seen that even the road we are standing on right now is not properly developed, and we've seen some excavators already working on some particular roads. I do not know from which party that is coming from, whether it's from the ruling government or although the MP here died a few months ago. Really, what is happening? Are you working on the roads because of the votes you want?
I'm not sure we are working on the road because we want votes. The people of Atim Wenchi deserve development, and so I also don't know who is working on the roads as I speak to you now. But if anybody is working on the roads to develop the people, I think it's fair. And so let's not make a big deal out of it. Development is not going to stop because an MP died. Development is not going to stop because there is a by-elections. One way or the other, the people who are deserving of development, and that's exactly what is happening.
Many thanks for your time. I've been speaking with George Opariado, who is the NDC youth organizer, as well as the Minister for Youth and Empowerment. We are here at the new Wenchi Presby polling center, where a number of voters are gathered. You could see them standing across both sides of the road. Most of them say that their votes would depend on the development of this constituency, Akwatia, as has been said by the minister. We're going to try and engage as well with some others, other constituency members who have come here. They've been standing here. They've been speaking as well. Hello. Let me speak with you for a second. Okay, it seems that they are not speaking with us. I want to speak to some of the constituents here as to really what is influencing their votes. Hello, sir. You're live on TV3. Can we know your name?
I can't do politics.
No. Are you here to vote?
Yes, I'm here to vote.
So you're a constituency member?
Yes.
And what will influence your vote? Why are you voting for whatever candidate you've decided to vote for?
Oh, for that one there. When you made mention of politics, everyone has his own what? His own. So it depends on you.
So are you voting based on party affiliation, or you are voting based on development you want in this constituency?
I'm voting for the progress of the town. The progress. We need the progress.
And what are the challenges you are facing in this town that you need progress on?
Our roads. Our roads are feeders. So we are appealing to the government to come to our aid.
Well, that will also depend on who you vote for as well and who is able to lobby. We're going to speak to some more constituents. You heard them talking about the fact that, of course, they are voting based on the development of the constituency. Their roads are bad and they want it to be fixed immediately. And so I'm speaking to one more person. What's your name, please? And are you a constituency member? Are you here to vote?
I'm a constituency member.
So have you voted? Okay, and what is influencing your vote for today?
Okay, what is influencing my vote today is like we all need development in our communities and towns, but most of the times it depends on the person who is coming. It depends on the person. We can have a government in power, but the personality of the person or the member of parliament also counts. You can have your government in power, but who representing the constituency is a problem.
And when you say personality, what kind of personality are you looking out for?
We have some MPs who can be in the constituency, but they will not work. Maybe the common funds will be coming there, but they will use it for another thing. They will not use it to help them. Because if I will speak the truth, we have had both sides. We have had both sides in power, having their ministers, having their MP in this constituency, but it's still lacking development.
So what do you think is the way forward? If we've had both and they've not worked for you?
My opinion is even you can have a member of parliament who is on opposition. Through his intervention and through his commitment, he can do development in the community. Whilst you can have a government in power and a member who is a member of parliament who can also do the same, but he will not do. But here, we are voting basically on what happened. One, you told us this community and this electoral area is New Wenchi. It is not on the ballot. It's not on EC's ballot. So the voter that you did here last year, which is 2024 election, it's not good. It's not a regular election. It was a state violence. So you take us to court based on this.
Right.
This current one, you have come here to campaign. You have come here to bring your representative here to vote. Why is it like that?
I understand.
So you are telling us, the people here, that we don't know our left and right. Meanwhile, we know our left and right. We have a new ballot fixing over here. That's why ECs have brought this thing over here. Okay. Why we would say that the vote that we cast last year was stolen?
Okay. Thank you very much. We're going to speak to some more people. We're currently still here at the New Presby area polling station, where we can see a lot more people gathered, and the police presence here is very high, as was said by the Minister for Youth and Employment. Heavy police presence. I could count over 30 policemen right here in the constituency, or in this particular polling station, manning the place and ensuring that nothing wrong happens. And so we are going to get some more people to speak to as regards to how the entire process is going. We can see now some more party bitwits who are here to observe the entire process. A lot of them gathered here in the constituency at this particular polling center. So we're going to speak to some of them. Hello, sir. Let's just speak quite on what really is happening here. What has been your observation so far?
Well, apart from this place, I've visited more than 20 police stations since I entered the constituency. I think it's just this place that I have seen there is a lot of tension building around. But I have confidence in the deployment that the security agents, especially the police, have made. I have seen that, having realized this, they are even putting in more crash barriers and others. So our hope is that when she has normally been a flashpoint when it comes to electoral violence, and so coming events cast their shadow, and I think that the police will read through the environment and deploy appropriately to ensure that we don't have any challenges.
And when you say there have been a little bit of tension in this area, what exactly are you talking about?
The number of people who are surrounding the electoral area. Anytime, in some of the police stations, when you go, you don't even see people. They vote and go back. But it appears that here the numbers are huge. And once you begin to see huge numbers like this, any little spark can cause a challenge. And so I think that the early warning signs are there, and I believe that they will be able to respond appropriately.
Many thanks for your time. And so you heard him right there. He says that he's happy with the police deployment here and the fact that they are trying to control the situation when it comes to this particular electoral area. He says that he's seeing that a lot of people are trying to enter the the polling center where voting is happening, and he's happy that the police has barricaded the place to try and stop them from doing that. So right here, I'm reporting from the new Wenchi Presby polling center, where voting is still ongoing, and we're yet to really see what will be the final results from this particular polling center and many others across the Akwatia constituency. My name is Judith Brown.
Reporters in the Akwatia constituency. It's just a few minutes, about 4 minutes past 1 p.m., meaning we have about 4 hours left for polls to close. So this is your trusted source for monitoring all the events in and around the Akwatia constituency. As and when it develops, we definitely will bring that to you. So our panelists are still here, and we are picking and deliberating on all the developments happening there so that you can also be in the know of what's been happening since voting started. And now that we are about 4 hours away from polls to close, what should the thinking be, especially if you are still in the queue going to vote, having listened to all that has happened since morning? Could that change your mind? Maybe. Could you still be voting as you have already decided? And what should the thinking really be for those who are still in the queue going to vote? There have been concerns about voter turnout, etc. All of that and more will be discussed when we return from this break, as Beatrice and her panelists will be delving into the major issues. Stay with us. This is your Election Command Center.